circling like vultures round my brain. Couldn't see the danger in your eyes. Draw me in, got me spinning now like water to a drain. You were perfect till I realized you hadn't shown your face. You sing a pretty song to drag my heart along, a siren serenade. You're ringing out to pray. Your love's a wreck and you know it's wrong. I was deaf to the ringing bells, wanting me to break, deafened by the sirens' soothing lies. I can't leave, I am in too deep, been sinking for a while, prisoner to the same thing I despise, devoted to a fake. You sing a pretty song to drag my heart along, a siren serenade. You're ringing out to pray. Your love's a wreck and you know it's wrong. It's over, same story. You lose to love and glory. It's over, same story. You lose to love and glory. You sing a pretty song to drag my heart along, a siren serenade. You're ringing out to pray. Your love's a wreck and you know it's wrong. It's over, same story. You lose to love and glory. It's over, same story. You lose to love and glory. Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break your keys, spread your toxicity, your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, but you let it through. Enough to go insane, living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it
Hey Twitch, welcome to Wednesday evening. First up tonight, we've got Dustin's Vinyl Podcast. After that, we got some live stand-up comedy with Keeping It Fresh. And then we're going to end the night with Lost in America and find out about that crazy plane that got shot down. Now, here we go with your host of Dustin's Vinyl, Dustin Chafin.
Nice. Give it up for my funky band leader, Anthony Kaffer.
Hello.
Keeping it not that white. I like it, man.
Keeping it funky. Not that white. That's a good way to describe me. Not that white.
Not that white, Anthony Kaffer. I love how he was like, a plane got shot down. Okay, give it up for Dustin's Vinyl. What?
I didn't hear about this.
I didn't hear about it either. I hope it was
no
a model
idea what
plane.
That's a reference to. Yeah, a model plane.
Some kid with, I hope it wasn't like a one with people. That's why. That's why we do this show, so people can escape from real news and just lose themselves in this whatever it is we do on here. Where it's
people are dying right now. Anyway, it's time to laugh
and talk about music nobody likes. Hey guys, this is fun. How was your music week? Did you listen to anything fun this week besides what we were supposed to listen to?
Besides that, let's see. What let me see.
What's in your jam? What's in your queue? What do you like when you're just like chilling out? What's at your top thing?
The last thing I listened to, I'm looking at Spotify because I forgot. I was listening to this Wilco album that came out a long time ago, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Oh,
you know
yeah?
that one?
I don't.
Good one. And then I was listening to a band called Parquet Courts.
Wow. Man, you got me on all those bands. What's one of the questions today is for the Twitchers out there is who's your band that you judge others for not liking? Do you have like a band that you just like when people don't like it, you're like, really, dude?
Well, I'm always skeptical when people shit on the Beatles. I know it's like the obvious one, but because you can learn almost anything you need to know about writing a good pop rock song from the Beatles catalog. So that's a pretty big red flag. And then Nirvana is like the band that made me want to be a musician. So if somebody says they don't like Nirvana, I'm a little skeptical of their taste.
Yeah, mine's probably Fleetwood Mac and the Doors. That's probably...
Is it really? Because I don't love the Doors, I gotta say. Is that a thing with you
that was
and Jeff?
Inside Jeff, with my co-host waiting in the rains. Just trying to make him laugh. It's to me, it's anything that's like like blues and like a BB King or kind of the thing. Allman Brothers is kind of my religion. So when people don't like the Allman Brothers, I'm always like, dude, because to me they're the Southern Beatles. Like they're a band that kind of like from the South. I think they're the most intricate band. It really did a lot of kind of original work and stuff that a lot of people weren't doing, and combining different forms of music.
They're a band that I have always been aware of, but I never dove too deep. So what would be for somebody like me? Where would be a good album to start with?
It's kind of, I always say greatest hits and work your way back, but Peach is good. I mean, it's, just, I have all of them. And, it's just every time I see one, there's one. Greg Allman by himself is great. Like just don't get the Cher Greg Allman album. That's the one you want to avoid. Yeah. You want to avoid that one altogether. That's when people were really famous, when they could just like, hey, we're fucking, let's make an album.
Let's just do an album together.
Yeah. The Peach is great. That's a good one. That's probably the best one. Let's see here. What other question? Another question. So this one's fun. If I can, I got this. I got to figure out a better way to do my questions here. Let's see. So who did it best? And this is going to later. Who did it best? Madonna, A. Cyndi Lauper, B.
Ooh.
C, Britney Spears, or D, Lady Gaga?
Is this for me or just
This is for you. Yeah, we're going to ask everybody else as well. You guys get ready for your answers for later, but this is just for me and Anthony right now.
I think there's different things to consider. Commercially, I think Madonna, if because of the longevity of her career and
she bangs 18-year-olds at 16. So
but
I got to give her that.
If I was going to hang out with one of them, I would hang out with Cyndi Lauper. I like Cyndi Lauper the most.
I'm going Cyndi Lauper all day. Absolutely. Yeah, I think something about her is just really like fun, and like she didn't take herself that serious. Whereas Madonna kind of got a little too into Catholicism and trying to prove points and a little weird stuff. Whereas I think Cyndi just kept it fun because girls just want to have fun, and she just kept it fun.
Yeah.
I think talent-wise, I'm going to go Lady Gaga. I think Lady Gaga can play because I'm a big guy. When you can play an instrument, I'm going to elevate you. It's just.
And she writes a lot of the songs, right? Doesn't she write all of them? Or
writes a lot of the songs. I think the other artists write some of the songs as well, but I think Lady Gaga is, classically trained and whatever.
Yeah. But Madonna wrote some, I think. But I think most of the hits that Cyndi Lauper had were not her songs.
Yeah, I think. And my random pull today is. An artist, Nina Simone, which I always put Nina above Aretha Franklin, Ella Fitzgerald, anybody, Etta James, whatever, just because she could play. She was a classically trained pianist, and she would have been that if she had gotten into the school she wanted to. And because of racism and all that bullshit, she wasn't able to get in. So she kind of got into the jazz circle and started kind of creating this kind of music. This album is, it's just an amazing piece of music. I don't know if you have this one, but
I don't have that one, but
I Put a Spell on You, which is the big famous song.
It's a great song.
A lot of the soundtrack, what was that? Some spy soundtrack that was on. God, I forgot. I'll find it in a minute. I'm losing my mind.
I watched
Bridget Fonda was in it. Yeah, they did a remake of it.
Oh, okay.
Point of No Return. That's it. That was big. They had a lot of her music in that. That's kind of what I got turned on by it.
Oh, okay.
Then I got more sophisticated in my old age. But you guys, Nina Simone is a great pull, and she, not like some of these, artists out there just dancing around like she was really.
Oh yeah,
and she was an activist.
Yeah, protest songs and stuff.
Yeah,
those were
a lot of her
great too.
Protest songs. So that's my random pull today. Nina Simone all day. And one last question before we premiere our video today. We're going to premiere a really cool video we're very excited about. And last question. This is an interesting one because best band that sounds like other bands.
Oh. Okay.
Because, there's a lot of bands that I like. And like Jeff got me on to the Struts, which I think they're phenomenal. I listen to them all the time. But they sound like six other bands, and I don't care because they're so good. And so I feel like like Oasis, I think would be in that realm of a great band that sounds like another band.
Yes.
Who would be that for you? Do you have one?
Well, there's a band that I really love called Local H.
Okay.
And they were one of the only bands that I've ever heard where you could tell that they loved Nirvana, but it didn't sound like it. Every other band that tried to sound like that was terrible. It was too much. And they had a nice balance of like they definitely were influenced by all the same bands and also Nirvana and brought their own kind of thing to it. And they're a two-piece band, which is that was before White Stripes and Black Keys and all that stuff.
That's cool. Well, today we're going to be talking Rival Sons, which is one of my favorite bands of the past couple of years, and they got a Zeppelin sound and stuff. So we're gonna kind of be talking about that kind of stuff. So very cool, very excited. So guys, if you could answer those questions, that hopefully you have different answers, and you could kind of throw it at us. We're gonna be we love your input. It breaks up the show. We have fun with it. So feel free to answer some questions and get it out to us because we really like that. And we're gonna premiere our video called The Snooty Record Guy. And so take it away. This might take a few seconds if you want to play a little bit while he's loading it.
Oh, I think it's ready.
How's it going?
Can I help you?
Do you have any Pat Benatar? You know, love is a battlefield, hit me with your best shot, you know.
No, we don't carry that kind of stuff here.
What? How do you not have Pat Benatar?
Because she sucks.
She's the greatest. She's so underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Pat Benatar.
Yeah. She's not even in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's what you're going by? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is all corporate. It's nonsense.
How about Madonna? You got any Madonna?
Oh, you mean Dolly Parton with drum machines?
Like a virgin? Come on, what is wrong with this place? Madonna, another underrated artist.
Did you really just call Madonna underrated?
Blowing my mind here, man. Get some good music in this store. What do you know about music?
You want to talk underrated? All right. Here, Harry Nilsson, son of Schmilson.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
The Breeders, Mountain Battles. What? Much better than Last Splash, which is the one you probably know.
What? Nope.
Pinkerton.
Never heard of it.
Van Weezer. That's the only good one.
Van Weezer. Dude, you're in the wrong place.
Maybe you're in the wrong place.
You know what? You're right. I quit.
You're gonna quit?
You run the store.
Yeah, I'll run this place, and I'll fill it up with Madonna and Pat Benatar records.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's start the show. Hit it, Anthony. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dustin's Vinyl. I'm bringing my lovely co-hosts, Jeffrey, Paul, and Adam Holmes. Yeah. Look at that. That was high tech.
Wow.
Get a video and everything.
Yeah, where did the inspiration for that come from? Oh, shit.
And I watched High Fidelity the day before we.
I told her, you got to be a snob. I want you to get into Jack White, the whole thing. And
I've seen it before, but I hadn't seen it.
I watched lots of Who's Your Band, so that's how I got into my inspiration.
The acting was incredible, guys. They fucking nailed it.
We did pretty good, I thought. Yeah.
I feel like I was just being myself. Except I do like Pat Benatar.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And actually, I like Madonna.
I like Pat Benatar too. I was just making fun of, the whole element of the show. We're making fun of the show. It's fun.
Yeah.
Stop shitting on our acting. We're taking risk here. All right, Paul. Don't make me go after you. I will. Let's have fun. We're family here. We don't shit on risk. We take risk.
We take risks. That's right. We do.
That's right. So good to see you guys. This is fun. I thought that was fun. I thought it was a fun way to kind of do something different on the show. I don't like to do the same shit over and over. I'm not married. We like to switch it up, make it different.
Yeah. I like the question about the who did it better.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty interesting. And Cyndi Lauper, you're right, Anthony. She didn't write a lot of her stuff. Who wrote a lot of her stuff, a lot of her hits? Eric Brazilian and Rob Hyman, and they were in a band called the Hooters. Do you remember them? All You Zombies, Johnny B. They were a great 80s band, but they were just incredible songwriters. And they wrote like a lot of her big hits.
You like Nina Simone at all, Jeff?
She's okay.
She's okay. She's fucking phenomenal, dude. I'm quitting this show. You think Nina Simone's okay?
It's not like my kind of music. I mean,
you can't say she's okay though. You can't be like she's okay.
I want.
Dude, no.
Even if it's not the kind of music you like, she's incredible at it.
She's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my God.
You're ridiculous.
Pat Benatar.
You think the cars are overrated?
Pat Benatar. Yeah,
Pat
Benatar underrated. I think the cars are underrated and Nina Simone is overrated.
Why? Because she was artsy, Nina Simone, so we have to like...
She was artsy. She was a classically trained pianist. She wrote all her music.
Blake.
She wrote all her music. She was phenomenal, man. She made a stance in the 60s.
I'm not going to listen to that all day.
Oh, man.
Wow, yeah. All right. What do you got?
Sorry,
So who's your
I like
artist today? So what album did you pick?
for today? Someone,
Talk about okay. Talk about B average.
Someone who's been in obscurity for years and didn't work hard and didn't pay her dues. And the world was just thrown at her. She didn't sacrifice. Little unknown artist named Madonna.
Talk about okay. Yeah, she's okay.
Listen, she's more than okay. This is
no. Nina Simone is more than okay. You can't.
So is Madonna.
Nina.
Okay,
all right.
She is. So we're talking about today her debut album that comes out in 1983, and when it charts, when it first comes out, it enters Billboard at 123, and she's only 24 years old when it comes out, and a little background about Madonna is she came, I think we all know she came out of the New York dance club scene. She danced at places like the Limelight and Danceteria, which were big discotheques in New York City. She actually worked as a waitress at a Danceteria. And I actually know and worked with the guy that signed her. It was Seymour Stein. And Seymour Stein's kind of like a well-known guy. He was known he signed the Ramones, the Talking Heads, the Pretenders, and he had a label that was called Sire, S-I-R-E. Remember Sire Records? And they, I think, wound up becoming a subsidiary of CBS Records. That's who I worked for, like in the mid '80s, and we worked on the same floor together, which was the 11th floor of Black Rock on 52nd Street in Manhattan. But anyway, Seymour Stein is in the hospital when he first heard Madonna. Madonna's friend over at Danceteria was a DJ named Mark Cummins, and he gave Seymour a cassette tape. He listened to her, signed her, and that was her first album. And I think it's a collection of electronic dance music, pop songs. It spawned hits like Holiday, Lucky Star, which was her first top 10 hit. Yeah, that would be a good version of it. Borderline.
Like it.
That would be if the Cars met Madonna, right? Remember Borderline? And when she first also broke, she was on a lot of black stations.
Much like Elvis.
Yeah.
They didn't have black stations when Elvis came.
But what she did was she brought together like a whole bunch of different subcultures. She brought together black, white, Hispanic, gay, straight. And when they first released Everybody, the singles were released with no picture of her because they thought she was black when she first came up. So I love her album. I think part of when you talk about Madonna, you're also talking about her style of the time, the jewelry. Remember the boy toy belt buckle was like, big for her image. If you remember like girls, everyone wanted to dress like her. There'd be Madonna lookalike contests and, the songs. I mean, I think the songs are great. Like the song Burning Up, high energy, raunchy rock guitar solo in it. Even though there was like a lot of synthesizer in that song, I enjoyed going back and listening to this. It had like real organic instruments. Like Borderline had that really very pretty piano medley in it. I wrote down some. I wrote down some notes. You know what it reminded me of? You guys remember a song by Stephanie Mills called "I Never Knew Love Like This Before"? It was a 1980s song. I never knew love like this before.
I don't know that one.
That Borderline really reminded me a lot of that song. Especially that piano part.
The intro part? They have because it also. Well, I was trying to learn some of the parts. And it's got like a similar riff as that 38 Special song.
So Caught Up in You. Yeah, that's Caught Up in You. Yeah, I can hear that. I can see that.
You know that part?
So Caught Up.
It's kind of like seen it all around you. You know the song.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The other songs I liked off of this. Did you guys like Physical Attraction? That was my favorite track off of this. I really liked that.
That one was okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of my standout tracks, but that one was pretty good.
I think Borderline's probably the best
track. Borderline is
Borderline's
Holiday.
Great.
I thought it was a great one. I like she wound up. What they did was so this album was released in '83, and you start to see the big disco 12 inches. You remember the extended mixes of songs, and she wound up getting this really famous DJ who wound up mixing her songs that really blew her up. Dance club. Do you guys remember DJ Jelly Bean Benitez?
No, I do not.
No, but that's the next character for next week.
DJ
I want to play Jelly Bean. All of my life.
He winds up becoming a really big producer of pop music, but it was doing extended mixes of Physical Attraction and Holiday, where it was his first foray into actually producing anything from scratch, So this album has a lot of history and really branched out and influenced a lot of people. One of the people on that list was Lady Gaga, and you can hear a lot of Madonna influenced in Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga owes her royalties.
Yeah. So
and she owes Grace Jones royalties.
And then it's a deep album too.
Jeff, don't you think there's a little influence with Grace Jones, with her outlandishness and stuff?
I think with the artsiness, yes. And I think from what I remember of Grace Jones, a little bit before my time, I remember Grace Jones being really a big fashionista type of
she was music pretty much.
She was Studio 54, but I think her fashion overshadowed her music. I remember she had some disco hits, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought Madonna kind of really crossed genres. She was dance music. She was considered a little bit of R&B. Later on, Dress You Up off of the second album had a heavy rock overtones to it. So I think, she kind of crossed a lot of different, she broke a lot of different lines. I think when on the first album that we're talking about here, I think it's something like Burning Up. You see a little foreshadowing into what her future may be, because that's a really erotic song, So I think it's an album that is for a debut album, it's oh my God, you can go 4 or 5 deep, just like The Cause, and it's just such a great album, and there's not a clunker on it. Yeah. So and then she has a string of hits. She, of albums. She goes into the mid 90s, into the 2000s as well. But this was a great way for people to get to know her. She's a woman. She came from Detroit, worked hard. She was what she wound up doing. She was also a dancer for Patrick Hernandez. Do you guys remember Patrick Hernandez? He had a disco hit called "Born to Be Alive."
Oh wait, that sounds familiar.
Born to be alive.
Yeah.
When he toured, she was one dances. So you also see maybe she does the blueprint for J-Lo a little bit, because J-Lo was a background dancer as well. So I think Madonna is, I don't listen to her politics. I don't listen to what any celebrity really has to say. But I think as far as talent and what and taking risks and the things that she's done, I really have a lot of respect for her. And I don't know if you guys ever seen her in concert, but she puts on a hell of a show too, man. She works real hard. It's a long show.
I like her politics better than her music, to be honest with you. Madonna, Madonna's kind of like alcohol for me. I just, I did too much of it, and then I had to stop. And so I feel like, I think the best Madonna album is the Immaculate Collection, because it has her hits in this way that it's just it's perfectly put together because a lot of greatest hits
Yeah.
albums aren't good. And I love that album. I think it's a good album. I think it like encompasses everything. I have a hard time just listening to a Madonna album all the way through. Like this one was tough for me, because I just feel that it's just not music I'm listening to now that I'm an adult. I feel like when it came out, I was in junior high and it was a big deal and it was fun and she was gorgeous and the whole thing. And Madonna could teach a class on how to become an icon. She really, she introduced things like you said, she cross culturally, the world was pretty white. It was pretty boring. She was introducing a lot of New York funk into pop music and stuff, things that were happening in New York, underground music that was happening, the dancing, the thing and all the stuff that, the people weren't really getting into yet because before
and don't forget the jewelry too.
Well, no,
fashion. You love the
fashion.
You're all about it.
She remember the rubber bracelets.
I was about to say that. That's what when I say icon, that's what I mean. But she's also, very Marilyn Monroe. It's, it was a lot of, just stuff that she took that she, embraced, and it was great. I love her as an artist, and her longevity is great. But after a while it was too much, it was just like, it was too much Madonna, she had no business being in a lot of movies and things. And after a while you're just like, Jesus Christ, how much more Madonna are we going to take? And, but, and the music's not very complex to me. It's a lot of simple hooks. And I think it works for pop music. And I think, just because something's a hit doesn't mean it's great. But I think MTV and, her being in Playboy, those combinations really exploded her. And like you said, the dance tracks and like all the dance 45s and stuff, the 12 inches or whatever. So, yeah, she's great. I can't take her anymore, but I haven't been able to take her music. Last live thing I saw was a Super Bowl thing. That was weird. So, she's good. But it's not something I would put on. Much like you think Nina Simone's okay, I think Madonna's okay at best. It's just not something that I would turn up if it came on the radio. Unless it's like, my favorite song is not on this album, but Crazy for You, I think, is her masterpiece. I think that's the cool, that's the heartfelt song that I like, because it was in Vision Quest, and that's a great movie. Yeah. And so, because I love wrestling. But
I was gonna say, off of Vision Quest, I used to love the song "Change." Remember John Waite?
Yeah, vaguely, but I love that. But her, I think she's great. She's good, and she's, and without her, we don't have a lot of other things. And so I give her credit for all of that. But it's, like Nina Simone's the same thing. Without Nina Simone, there's not a lot of music happening, And so same thing. She's just as much of a pioneer as Madonna is, and that's, So I see her like that. Madonna's a pioneer, but at the same time, it's like, it's not my thing.
Yeah,
I definitely think she's a pioneer.
And she was great at constantly reinventing herself, her image, her sound.
Yeah, it was fun, the videos.
Her music grew.
Yeah.
Her music grew. Like when you look at
in the 90s, she did like the Bedtime Stories album.
She tried. She tried to play guitar a little bit. She tried to like.
She hit a real clunker when she
played guitar like Barry Gibb. Played guitar.
Remember, like she did a remake of, and that was, I think, one of the worst remakes I've ever heard.
Which one?
American Pie.
American
Pie song.
I don't remember hearing that.
Vita was probably her worst.
Okay.
Her worst.
The Vita was bad.
The Vita was really bad.
But I think, like, the one with Frozen, and the duet she did with Justin Timberlake. I mean, 4 Minutes to Save the World. I think those were great songs. And she really evolved as an artist. And musically from the first.
I don't think she made it out of the 80s. She's another one that did not make it out of the 80s. In the early 90s, she skipped around.
Her chart
early
success,
90s.
I disagree with that.
Early 90s. I don't think she made it out of the early 90s. I think 93 and it was over.
You know what I loved, though? I loved the
Prove me wrong.
That Ray of Light song. I don't know what the
that
rest
was
of the album was like.
That was late 90s.
Yeah, that was
that Frozen. Those were all later 90s. She had the one other one that she kind of like sampled off of ABBA, Caught Up in You.
I don't remember that one.
Those were all really like big club hits,
Yeah.
They were so edgy. And then remember, I think when you think of like early 90s, you're thinking like the Exotica album, which I really didn't like all that much. I thought it was a little weird.
Yeah, Adam, how you feeling about Madonna as an artist, this album? Like, talk to us.
mean, I mostly agree with you, Dustin, about how she's so iconic. You can't dismiss her influence, but it's really I had such a difficult time getting through this album. I just thought every single song there was a it was every song was very similar. I did like Burning Up. I thought that was a great song. I hadn't heard that one before, but I'm just looking here, and she had 50 #1 hits. She's got the most #1 hits for any artist.
Wow, that's a lot of #1s.
But you thought like Physical Attraction and Holiday sound even remotely similar?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of it, especially this album. I know that some of the other albums, the songs are a little bit more distinctive. I thought this one was just more clubby, more dance oriented.
Oh yeah,
well, it was. But that was her audience. Right. That's what she was going after.
Yeah, she's talented, but it's just not for me, man. It's not.
It's funny because I actually liked this album more than the other one that we're going to talk about later.
Really?
Wow. Wow, that's kind of interesting right there. And also like Dustin had kind of mentioned, she was in Playboy, and when she first came to New York, I mean, she was basically homeless, and she was living out of her car, and to make ends meet, she would like pose naked, like for art studios. Like she was doing like photography, artists, and that's how those pictures wound up getting released. And so she, instead of like running away from it, she embraced it, and she agreed to do something. It
scarred a lot of us because when we saw her armpit hair, it was like, oh my God, we'd never seen that before. So it was like, because Playboy everything was polished, and so here comes Madonna in Playboy, everybody's excited, and then she's like, ah, and we're like, ah, it was just too much.
Was that before Truth or Dare, or was that after?
Way before, yeah.
I didn't even know she was in Playboy because I mean, this album came out a year before I was born. This first one, and
it looks like it looks like she's been following Fish on tour for about 4 years. That's what it looks like.
I remember when the book came out, the sex.
Yeah, that was later.
Yeah. But that that might have been the first time I remember hearing about her when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with Madonna, it's like she like I'm a Sinead O'Connor guy, so it's like when Sinead, it's like, I don't know, it's like when some of that was happening, she's later than Madonna, but I just like, I would hook on to something late after Madonna and just stay there. I never went back to Madonna is what I'm saying, whereas I feel like, it's one of those, she's a great, and I do love Cyndi Lauper. I think Cyndi Lauper just didn't take herself too serious, where Madonna was bringing in black priests and crucifixes and shit. And you're just like, it just
was a lot of imagery, and she really did embrace MTV, but so did Cyndi Lauper.
She did, but not like Madonna. I felt like she took herself less seriously. I felt like she was more fun. I thought it was more kind of
mostly fun.
Yeah, it wasn't. She wasn't trying to,
Cyndi Lauper did the theme song for Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, you gotta love that.
Right. She also did the when she also the song on Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies are good enough. Yep.
Oh, really?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Come on. So that's what I'm saying. You're doing Goonies. You can't take yourself that seriously. Hey, Adam, did anybody any questions? Anybody chime in? What's going on?
Yeah. We got some. Let's see. We got Joyce Rose 1313 says, "I loved Holiday," and Madonna did it all, which we were talking about before. Happy Mischief. She was the best at reinventing herself. We got a question here from Morty Nault, who asks, just from our artist from last week, do you think Billie Eilish is this generation's Madonna?
No,
I wouldn't compare them. I don't think.
No, that's definitely more Gaga, but yeah.
Although
Nicki Minaj and those kind of people, I think.
The other
she might be for the generation. Okay, here's the deal: every artist is a product of their generation. So Madonna was a product of us. We were wearing swatches. We were dance clubs. We were into. So it was like she was a product of us. Whereas like Billie Eilish is a product of kids now. And depressed, wearing baggy clothes, whatever it is that kids are now, it's different. So I see what they're saying by that question. So I say yes a little bit because of that, because a lot of the kids are kind of like her, Billie Eilish. So Madonna was a better looking, more fashionista person, but we were all striving to look that way because in the 80s there were women looking like Madonna before Madonna. I mean, it was like the hair was teased, everybody's wearing bracelets and stuff. We were on our way to that, and she just kind of took everything around her and made it bigger. But there was a lot of Madonna types before Madonna.
Well, even Cyndi Lauper had a similar look as Madonna when she first came out.
Oh yeah,
that was just the look.
Yeah, it was like so.
I would run a parallel between Madonna. I'd say Madonna and Cher.
I could see
with the way their music evolved, the way they kind of changed themselves.
Cher's a way better actor, though. I'll tell you that.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
She crushed her with the acting.
Did she win the Academy Award for Moonstruck? Or she was nominated for something?
I think she won. Yeah, I think she won that.
Either Moonstruck or
any other questions, Adam?
Or Mask? Did she get anything for Mask?
No, but that was
a good one.
She should have.
That was a good one. Just have to. Never mind. That was a weird one, but it was good. The hooker scene freaks me out. All right, Adam. Any more questions? Did anybody answer the question? Who did it better? Who did it better? Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Lady Gaga,
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears. You think Britney Spears?
I think Britney Spears had potential to be on that level early on, but
so Jeff says Britney Spears.
No, I'm going to say if to answer that question.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to go Madonna, but I mean, if you're going to break it down to the points you spoke about earlier in the show, when you talk about overall talented, playing music and writing and everything, I mean, Gaga, I mean, she's off the charts right now. Which plays
also on the charts.
Yeah. Say the least out of all of them would probably have been Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm.
She don't write anything of her own.
It's true. She doesn't typically write. And she
has
a
lot.
I mean,
I think she's the best. I think she's the best. Like maybe I'm going to say dancer. I'm going to give Britney dancing.
Yeah.
If we're doing a competition,
I mean, you're a phenomenal dancer, Jeff. Do you have any? Do you have any of that footage, Adam? Do you have any of that footage of
and
Jeff
I follow Britney Spears on Instagram.
You have it ready?
And she posts like all these dance things that she does, right? So I watch them, like I critique her dancing. And then I send her notes.
Critique her dancing.
Yeah, I sent her.
I bet
notes,
you do.
yes.
I bet you do.
Yeah,
because you're
I'm like,
phenomenal.
this is what I would do. Let me show you. And then
who I would have put as one of the choices, multiple choice on this question? I would put Janet Jackson.
Yeah. Same era.
No.
Yeah, same era. And also talk about reinventing.
We only do white people on this show. We're kidding, everybody. We're kidding. Janet was bad. I mean, Paula Abdul was good. I mean, you could go
Michael
on
Jackson
and on and on and on. But it's like, it's you don't like Paula?
I love Paula Abdul. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I like the animated cat in the video.
Yeah. She dated Arsenio Hall.
Opposites attract.
Yeah.
Straight up, I still think is a song that holds up, man. I think that's still a really.
I think Madonna ruined Sean Penn, though. I think after they broke up, I think that's when he started hitting the cocaine hard,
Yeah, but that's when he started winning his Academy Awards too.
Did he?
Yeah, he wound up doing like Milk afterwards, and you remember?
Oh, okay.
I mean, Milk
was a cocaine joke,
later.
Jeff. Way to step on it. Anyway.
Listen, I go for accuracy and facts on the show.
He didn't do cocaine?
No, I'm not saying he didn't do cocaine. I'm just talking
That's a joke. He did a lot of cocaine.
Okay. He did cocaine. Very good.
Yeah. That's all it was a cocaine joke. There is fact. You go for facts and accuracy? Okay.
Yes.
And then Nina Simone's okay? Well, that's still going to haunt me for the rest of the week.
It's opinion. It's opinion.
Madonna can't even, it's not even close.
Yes, she can.
No, she can't.
Yes, she can.
Not for the soulfulness of the music.
It's two different types of music.
No, it's not. It all comes from blues. It all comes from rock. It's all the same thing. It all comes from the same place. It comes from one place.
It's too, if you're going to say soul, then why not throw Dusty Springfield in there? I mean, you talk about someone who sang from the soul and from the heart. And I mean, she, you would put her.
It was also white. Well. It was a lot easier to sing when you're white.
Yeah, but it wasn't easy to sing. You were a lesbian.
They didn't know that till later.
No,
because pretty easy to see that she was black.
She was.
She couldn't get into schools. Like she couldn't even get into her own shows. Backstage kind of stuff. Like it was different for black people in the 50s and 60s than it was for a woman who might be a lesbian.
No, she was a lesbian.
No. Might appear to be a lesbian. It didn't come out till later. It wasn't right away. It wasn't right away. I have an album right now. It talks about what kind of boys she likes. They do a Q&A on the back of the album. It says, what kind of boys do you like? And she says, I like tall men. Like, it's a whole thing. It's a Q&A they used to do.
So they also kept what's his name, Rock Hudson, in the closet as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what his music's like, but his acting was pretty good.
It was his music was very much like Liberace music. Liberace was another guy.
He wasn't gay. There's no way he was gay. Liberace? No way. If you really think I mean that, you don't know me at all, Jeff. You have no idea who I am. If you really think I meant that,
no.
All right, save us, Adam. What else we got? Anything?
Let's see.
Save this show.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people saying that's kind of a tie, really, between Madonna and Lady Gaga for that question. That was about.
Okay, that's it. All right. What about? So we're gonna go into the next one. So what about bands that sound like other bands? Who do you guys like that sound like other bands? Bands that sound like other bands.
I'll give you an old one and a new one, and they both remind me of the same band. Do you remember the 80s band Zebra?
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay. Tell Me What You Want. That was like their big hit. Wait Until the Summer's Gone. I used to love this band. Both Zebra and I love Greta Van Fleet, and they both remind me exactly like Zeppelin, who I think is, on my Mount Rushmore of bands. So I'm going to go with those two.
What about you, Adam?
I might go Gaslight Anthem, who they took a lot of flack for sounding like or structuring a lot of their songs like Springsteen.
Oh.
Okay. Very cool. And so what's the band today? What album we got today, Adam? What are you bringing? All right, we got feature.
We got the 6th studio album from the Long Beach, California band Rival Sons, Feral Roots from 2019. Now this was nominated for 2 Grammys for Best Rock Performance for Too Bad and for Best Rock Album.
Such a great album.
Yeah. I mean, this is and you know what? This band actually formed on MySpace.
That's so cool. So Jeff knows them well.
Right.
me and you know them well. You and Alan Fuchs.
Alan Fuchs.
You're the one that got me into this band.
Yeah, they're good. They're such a fun band. I mean, go ahead, Adam. What do you think? What's your take on this album?
Well, I mean, first, I didn't even realize they've been around since 2009, and this is the first. I've heard some of their songs before. This is the first album that I've sat down and listened to of theirs, and it took me a little while to get into it. They were a little bit too much at first. I thought of a throwback band. It's kind of the same situation with the Struts, but I started getting really into, especially today, getting really into this. I mean, it's great bluesy, hard rock, and it's just such a great album.
Yeah, I enjoy it. They're just a lot of fun, and it's like their Pressure and Time is such one of my favorite songs, and that's, on that album is really great. I think that's the name of the album, Pressure and Time. But yeah, they're fun. And the drumming, I really love the drumming on their albums. Like the drummer is like, to me, the star of the band.
Mike Miley.
Yeah, Mike Miley, that's his name. He's fantastic. Yeah. Like, it's like there's so much good drumming, and I'm a big fan of the Cult. And I think his voice kind of sounds a little bit like Ian Astbury a little bit. So it's like that's kind of my ideal band, a band that kind of rocks out with talented guitarist and drums, and then a guy that kind of has this kind of high voice that's gothic, if you will. Mm-hmm. So I like this album. I hadn't heard this album. Pressure and Time is always in my loop and all that, but I listened to some of their older stuff, so I was happy they had a later album. But they're just a band that works for me. Like the music, I liked most of the tracks. I was kind of into. I mean, once in a while, I could see like a track, being kind of like sounding like the other, whatever. But that, to me, that's good. That's the reoccurring thing in rock music. That one of the songs sounds like the other. There's only so much you can do sometimes. You know what I mean? Right. So I feel like that's going to happen a lot. So I'm forgiving of that, because like the Struts. I mean, it's like I love them, but a lot of the songs are similar, and Anthem and what they're kind of going for in the style of the music. But just like the Struts, I really love Rival Sons, and I just think this is a fun album, and I know Anthony hated it, but I'm curious why you didn't like it. So let's go Anthony, and we'll go Jeff. So Anthony,
I didn't hate it. I actually did like it, but there's something, and I can't even really put my finger on it. There's just something about it where if I don't listen to it again, I'd be okay.
I can see that. Okay, I'll give you that.
But there's stuff that it's very Led Zeppelin. But the cool thing is that they can kind of back it up. Like there were some drum parts that guy was doing where I was like, that's a John Bonham kind of thing, and he's pulling it off. Yeah. I thought that I think maybe what it is the singer reminds me a lot of Chris Cornell, but he's not Chris Cornell. I mean, he's good at what he's doing, but I guess there's just something. It just felt like maybe I was listening to discount Soundgarden album at times. So maybe that was something that but yeah, there was moments. There definitely Zeppelin, some kind of Sabbath stuff, like some of the softer songs. The vocals kind of.
They opened for Sabbath.
Yeah.
They were the opening band for Sabbath when they reunited and went on tour. They were like the opening band.
Well, that makes sense. The first, I forget the title, but the first track on the album, the riffs kind of reminded me. I mean, everything was Zeppelin-like, but it also kind of had a Rage Against the Machine kind of like the riffs.
I don't know. Yeah, I get it. I mean, how do you feel about the Struts? Don't you feel like they take a little piece of everybody?
I don't know the Struts.
Oh, you don't know the Struts? Okay, you got to get into them. You'll like them. Yeah. All right, Jeff, talk to us.
I like hearing like you guys talk about like who you think he sounds like, and it's funny how like music like hits us differently.
He said totally different people. Like it's interesting. Yeah,
because I was hearing a lot of Paul Rogers in his voice, and you were saying Zeppelin,
Bad Company.
Yes, and that's who they reminded me of. Like I guess of a 2000 version of Bad Company. I loved this. I absolutely loved this album. I was getting mad that like how is this band not bigger? After listening to that album, and how did it take me so long?
They're so not underrated.
Turned onto it. They are completely underrated. They are completely underrated.
They probably still have 3 houses though. That was my joke.
I think. Listen, I have 2 houses.
Hey, quit front. We don't do that here. Stop
2
that.
houses.
Yeah, you and your wife make money. Stop making it weird. We're talking about the artist.
But I think they're great players. I think the hooks on the songs are great. I think their songs are made for FM radio. I just think I don't get why this band hasn't blown up yet. And what the shame was, they were supposed to tour this summer. They were supposed to be the opener for Aerosmith on their 50th anniversary. And the big show was supposed to be Aerosmith doing 2 nights over at Fenway Park, and they postponed that. They pushed that back to 2022. But I thought this was going to be the year for Rival Sons, and so now they're going to have to go and do listen. This is a band that is of money, and that has to do like club dates, and they're going to do smaller venues, headlining on their own. But I thought the exposure that they would have gotten with Aerosmith this summer, I thought this is a band I think that still has a lot of room that's going to take it to another level.
I think so too. I think the problem with this band, they just they started in 2009. That's a lot of it. I feel like they're a band that I think it's hard for guitar bands and musical bands to start this time and age. Like it's just a different time. Like people want hip hop, people want dance, people want J-Lo type stuff. People want, it's like it's just different. It's like that's why there's no, when we watch the Super Bowl halftime show, there's no young rock band because they're hard to find. I think it's like one of the hardest things.
Look how they disrespected, rock bands like this, or rock bands in general, disrespected on the Grammys or even the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Kanye was with Paul McCartney. Like, who's that old guy? Like, the generation coming up doesn't understand. Like,
100%.
Yeah, I think if they started a few years earlier, they could have had the same success as the Black Keys or Kings of Leon, because they kind of fall into that same. I mean, even though their first song sounds a little bit like the Black Keys.
Yeah, and I think they're doing okay. They're probably probably the same kind of fan base as the Black Keys in a way, you know, where it's like they sell out. I'm sure they sell out when they go to places. I'm sure they could sell out the Beacon. You know, I think enough people know who they are. But it's like, yeah, I think they're coming up. But I think definitely exposure would have been better.
They headlined a couple of years ago. They did like the outdoor amphitheaters, and they were the headliners, but they needed a strong support act to sell out. So like those were venues that were like 2,000-3,000 seat venues.
Do you remember who?
And that's what I want to. Oh my God!
Yeah.
The name's escaping me.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
It was someone who was actually it was someone who was actually halfway decent. Like it was a good band that helped them sell tickets.
I'm sure they'll end up in some festival circuits, and then they'll get bigger and bigger. And it's just like, but they're a great band, and we're hopefully Anthony, I want you to check out Pressure and Time. It's very Zeppelin, but it's a beautiful song. Zeppelin. Yeah. It's a beautiful song. It's a perfect rock song. It's called Pressure and Time.
Sorry, it may have been Clutch.
Clutch is great.
Clutch.
It may have been Rival Sons Clutch.
That's my band. Like I would love to see that concert.
That would be a great show to go see.
That would be good. I saw a Clutch with Motorhead, and that was a phenomenal show. That was really good at the Nokia Theater. That was phenomenal. It was so good. Nice. And that was the first time I was at it was the first time I felt old because my friend, she always takes me to concerts and we always go. And she always asks if I want earplugs, and I go, nah, dude, I'm cool. And I was like, I don't need earplugs. All right. I'm not at that level in my life. Like I'm still, and then fucking Motorhead starts. I'm like, I need those earplugs immediately. I was like, my ears were bleeding. All right. Adam, any more questions? We only got a few minutes left.
No, I don't see. Actually, I see an answer here to the question about bands. Sound the same. Let's see. Expeded Din says, I would say the Black Crowes and Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. Okay. Exactly. That's a smart man right there. Led Zeppelin, they get off on that a little bit, and then it's just like a lot of people sound like Zeppelin, and then they sound like a lot of people. So that's a whole nother thing. It's a cycle. It just goes and goes. All right, what news coming out, Adam? What do you got? What's the new stuff we can get on vinyl right now?
All right, let's see. Well, first, actually, from the top of the show, Anthony was talking about Wilco, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, and Parquet Courts. I could probably Light Up Gold, right? Their debut album.
Yeah, that one's
great. And I gotta say, if you guys haven't heard it, two fantastic albums. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, probably one of the best albums of the past 20 years, and Light Up Gold is just a great album. It's got the such a great 1-2 punch of Master My Craft and Borrowed Time. Great albums. You got to check those out.
Sweet.
See, so since we had, I'll start with the soundtrack. Since we had soundtrack month last month, got the 2017 Charlize Theron movie Atomic Blonde coming out from Mondo Music. Double LP. It's a needle drop of the 80s best cuts. I mean, there's
so good.
Till Tuesday, Voices Carry, which is such an awesome song. We got Flock of Seagulls, Iran, 99 Love Balloons, London Calling. There we go. And George Michael's father figure. Plus you have Health, who we heard on the Grand Theft Auto 5 soundtrack doing a cover of Blue Monday.
I know the Orgy cover.
Yeah, which is a great cover.
Yeah, that's a good movie too, man. I mean, it's like
Atomic Blonde.
She's hot. She's kicking ass. It's great music.
I think I saw that in theaters. I don't know why.
Good. Yeah, so good. I just saw Spiral at the movie theater. That's the Chris Rock produced thing.
Oh, the Saw thing.
Yeah, I don't like critiquing people. I think, but Chris Rock makes comedy look easy, but he makes acting look really hard. That's all anyway, go ahead.
All right, so we got a bunch of reissues coming out. We got since we were doing Madonna, here's another 80s pop star, Belinda Carlisle, Belinda, the 35th anniversary edition, double LP. It's got the songs "Mad About You," "I Feel the Magic" on it. We got for any rockabilly fans out there, we got Brian Setzer, Rockabilly Riot, Volume 1.
Ooh, nice.
A tribute to Sun Records.
Awesome.
Yeah, double LP. 23-track album focuses on Sun Records. basically Sun Records songs are recorded between 1954 and 1957. You got Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis Presley. So covers all those.
Awesome Sun Record tour. If you ever get a chance in Memphis, is phenomenal.
Right.
Very cool, guys. Thank you so much. We're out of time. We got to start the next show. But thanks for listening and watching Dustin's Vinyl. Check it out on our Facebook page and our Instagram, and let us know if you want us to cover an album. Thank you, everybody. It was great.
Bye, guys.
Anthony, play us out.
Something in the way loving doesn't let me be. I don't want to be a prisoner, so let me free. Borderline. It's in my mind. Over the borderline.
Yay. Goodbye, everybody. That was perfect.
Oh my.
Great show.
on Twitch as well. Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? Hey, girl. Hey, I hope you're well. Is everything good?
Yeah.
Okay. Fabulous. That's fucking
I'm in
fabulous.
Chicago.
Wow. Okay. All right. So
yeah, with my son and my grandson.
Oh my God. So you're back. So you're ready to party.
So I'm really loving being here.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I like Chicago. That's a really fun town. I've believed the men when they've hit on me in Chicago. Yeah, it's like the one time I've been like, you know what? I think you're being honest with me right now, and I will have sex with you. Oh my God. What a treat. Hey, Twitch, blammo, baby. Sorry, it's just me again. That's because Emily, yes, you remember, is getting married this weekend.
That's right.
I just don't know. No one panic. I am packing condoms for the sex that I will not be having. But we'll see. I've been told that there's 2 eligible bachelors, so I feel like I'm going to know within the first 5 minutes of the barbecue on Saturday who I'm fucking or if I'm not fucking at all. So we'll find out. But where I'm staying in Pennsylvania is a college town.
Oh,
So neither here nor there, but if you're over 18, we're going to have a nice time. Okay. Everything's fine. I'm fine. Condoms, Amanda, sometimes you just got to believe in yourself. Thank you so much, Dark Secret, that I won't get pregnant. I'm not sure which part of myself I'm supposed to believe in. No, I don't. I can't figure it out. So here we are, entering back into the world, and I kind of would have just preferred to be left in my room here gathering dust. You know what I mean? Like, just leave me here. I really like it. My like West Elm / Urban Outfitters vibe room. Just leave me. I don't need to participate. Like, let me gather dust, like the curtain rod that's up there, like an old collection of DVDs. I just don't really want to participate, but I feel like I kind of have to. It's so crazy, like kind of coming back out into the world and seeing how people have used their time or not used their time. And I know it was a shit year. I feel like it's safe to say that it was a fucking nightmare. Okay. Like, I think we can say that. People are giving it like cute names, like pandemic, and the pananene. That's not a thing I've heard, but I just made that up. But it's like, can we just accept that it was like a steaming pile of shit? Like, I'm a positive person, and I accept that about myself. Please do not confuse positivity with optimism, though. I will ask you to do me that favor, because I do need a little cynicism to keep me going. It just means that I can stand on a pile of my own shit and think about what I want to do with it. Okay. To me, that's positive thinking. Optimism, that's not for me. That's for the life I left behind in Colorado. Optimism is for the guy who gets cut from his brunch shift and then wants to go bouldering. Okay. Fuck you. But I spent some time kind of thinking about, like, okay, how do I want to like re-enter the world, And I spent a lot of time thinking about me and the cultures that I've stolen throughout my life, which is all of them, and having to come to terms with that, but I do think that I learned about myself in the most privileged way, which is by listening to the 1619 podcast on my fire escape in Park Slope. Okay. Yelling, "Fuck you, Abraham Lincoln." And then taking a sip of my kombucha. Thank you very much. Tangerine passion fruit. But what a dump. What a dump. And, I think we're slowly figuring it out. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm really glad I didn't have any fucking kids ever, especially during this time, because not only have we proven that we don't deserve them because we can't even make a birth announcement without burning down an entire state. Okay. If you forgot that we burned down all of California because you wanted people to know if your kid had a vagina or a penis that they're probably going to change their mind about anyway, get the fuck out of here. Okay. I already know that I don't want children. I've accepted the kind of mother I will be, which is the mother that would drive a van into a lake. Yes, that's the kind of mom I would be, because you know what? Sometimes you just want to go to Target in peace and stop by Starbucks and get your venti matcha latte and not have two little shits screaming about cake pops. Okay? I want to shop in peace. Shut the fuck up. I'm glad I don't have children. That's been nice. I did see a woman the other day. This isn't even a joke. This is just an observation, with a belly chain on. Fuck you, 1998? Like, why are you like, okay, we got rid of low-rise jeans. We got rid of belly chains. Like, that's just like your past coming back to haunt you. Like, I was never capable of wearing that. So it's just a blast from the past, but it's just trauma. You know, we can't all be Britney, okay? Everybody, Twitch, you know what I'm talking about, as much as we would like to. Okay. But no, it's not for us. What else can I tell you guys? I don't know. That's kind of it. This is our last show on Zoom for a while. I don't want to break any hearts. But I do want to be honest. It's been a really long-term relationship with all of you. And I've really enjoyed getting to know this community that I had absolutely no idea existed. And now that I know, I can never forget. So don't get it twisted. I'll still be on Twitch with Comedy Hub, just probably not for a minute. I see you, evil but nice Dave. How are you? I hope you're doing well. You know, you follow me on Instagram or whatever. As I've said before, I'll say it again. You can donate to your comedians on Venmo at Keeping It Fresh, because you know what? If this is the last one for a while and the world's coming back, that means we have to go back to our shitty waitressing jobs that nobody wants to do. So if you could tip us, thanks a lot. I'll throw that up in the chat. We have an amazing show for you guys tonight. I am so excited. This lineup is hotter than a pair of hot pants. I'm so excited to bring up our first comedian, which, yes, I remember. Okay, I wrote it down. She's a treat. I've seen her around, and I'm so happy she agreed to do the Zoom show. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Angela Cobb.
Hello. Hello. Can everybody hear me? Just making sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you good? Okay, cool. I never have to ask that in real life. It's like, this is definitely something that I've only asked during the pandemic on Zoom shows. Like, people are like, yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You're very loud still, even virtually. It's fine. It's fine, you know? Oh man, I love, you were talking about things coming back. Yeah, like I'm with you. Like for me, I just loved using COVID as an excuse for everything. Like, and I'm going to totally use that long into the future, though. You know what I mean? It'll be like 8 years later, and they'll be like, hey, Angela, like, how come you don't get your student loans paid off? I'm like, well, you know, COVID, you know. Angela, I was like 8 years ago, you know, the ripple effects of the trauma, you know, just settling in. But, like, the thing is, because, like, I was broke, depressed, and single long before COVID hit. And, you know, and then, like, during COVID, though, like 2020, I actually was, like, in a relationship, had my mental health under control, and like had to have a good job. So I was like, what the hell has COVID done for me then? Nothing, clearly. Like it hasn't, you know, I was like, you know, if you were depressed and broke and single in 2017, nobody cared, you know, like, but I remember I would like hear single friends talk about trying to date during COVID. And I would just be like, why are you even trying? Do you have any idea what a golden opportunity you have right now to just be like, it's not me, it's a pandemic. Like, I mean, I've gone dateless for like years at a time without even trying. No pandemic, you know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, listen, this is just blame it on the pandemic. My God, like, you know, that's what it's for. Yeah. It was funny though, because you were saying about like getting back into participating, and I realized it made me think like, to me, it's like this now that like real life is coming back. I feel like the participation thing almost reminds me of like when I was in elementary school, and it's like it all depends on what class it is in terms of like my participation in that class. Like if in order to pass, I just have to like get changed every class, like for gym, then I'm on board. like if all I have to do is maybe like throw a bra on and put a shirt on and walk out the door, right, maybe we can talk as long as I get an 100 for each day that I do it, you know. But if it's like, you know, you're going to have to like talk, you're going to have to contribute to the class discussion, you're going to have to shower, you're going to have to put makeup on. Nah, I don't think. I think I'm not going to be an overachiever in that way, you know, like I'm not. It is funny though, because like somebody recently said about the MTA coming back, right? And they were like, the MTA, they're like, the subway, it's still late, but it's very, very clean. And that's what I realized. I feel like the MTA currently, that's like my aesthetic, because I can either, because I can either be on time for something and look like shit, or I could be late and like actually try. You know what I mean? You don't get both. Like never, like never the twain shall meet, or whatever the expression is. Yeah, I don't know. What else? Hey.
Yeah, I heard that.
I know we got music and shit. What else? Oh yeah. So like I just enjoyed, you know, using stuff as an excuse, you know, and like that was my whole game plan. Let's see. So in terms of like mental health struggles, like I was definitely happy that, you know, it started to shine a light on mental health issues. Because like I struggle with depression, and I was talking to my mom about this recently, and I was like, "Ma, have you ever been suicidal?" Without missing a beat, my mom just goes, "No, Angela, but I've been homicidal many times." It's like, wow, my mom's such a giver. I was actually hospitalized for depression in 2017. Remember when we thought that was going to be the worst year ever, guys? Yeah, that was fun. And here's what I think. I think that if you were in a mental hospital that is part of a university, you should by default become an alumni of that university. Like I have an undergraduate degree from SUNY Oneonta, and that's fine. But I think I should totally be able to rock an NYU hoodie and be like, yeah, I went here. You know? Some guy starts talking to me in a bar. He'll be like, "Oh, NYU, Tisch School of the Arts." I'll be like, "No, Langone, Psych Ward, class of 17. Nice to meet you." I think I should be able to be on the alumni reunion email lists too. You know, I show up at the reunion. They're like, "Funny, we don't remember you going to school with us." I'll be like, "Oh, that's because I only exist in your mind." Yes. Let's see. So I do have a boyfriend, and it's very strange for me because, like, you know, I was one of those people who when people are like, "Well, how long have you been single?" I'd be like, "I don't know, like my entire life. Like I really don't, you know." So, or like anytime a comic would start their set with like, "So NX of mine," I'd be like, "Quit bragging, first of all, that you have more than one."
Seriously.
You know? Yeah. But anyway, but my boyfriend, so I was a virgin until I was 25, but my boyfriend's from New England, so it all evens out. And to me, like, I don't get New England. To me, it's like a group project in school where like one state does all the work and the other 5 states still get credit. And sometimes it's Massachusetts, but every once in a while New Hampshire pops out like, "Hey, remember us? No sales tax." But to me, the difference to me can be exemplified by the clam chowders, right? Like, for instance, New England clam chowder, they call it New England clam chowder. We all know Vermont didn't do shit for that. But in New York, what do we call it? Do we call it New York clam chowder? Oh no, we call it Manhattan clam chowder. This fuck if the Bronx ever gets credit for anything. All right, I'm Angela Cobb, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
God, Angela, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. What has Vermont ever done besides just rest peacefully? That's it. That's all Vermont does. They just kind of sit there. You know, it's cute. It's a good look. Yeah. Oh my God. We were getting some. Oh, it was mostly about me being desperate on the Twitch chat. So don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'll keep that one to myself. That's fine. Fuck you guys. Yeah, I got abandonment issues. Oh my God. How can I abandon myself?
Somebody needs to get their dad off of Twitch because the dad joke factor.
Oh my God. You guys, I can't, I don't know. I'm responsible for my own masturbating. You know what I mean? I would never let myself down like that. I totally agree with you, Angela, though. You should get an NYU sweatshirt. I, too, have been sent to an ER because of depression, and a gathering of students was around my hospital bed to talk to me about my feelings. And they were like, so, like, what happened? And I was like, nothing. Like, nothing happened. Like, I don't know what to tell you besides my brain chemistry is broken, bitch. And then the main psychiatrist was like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, I do comedy.
They were like, yeah, duh. Yeah.
And I was like, you guys are all in your early 20s and I hate every single one of you. That's all. All right, let's keep this show going. I'm feeling good. The energy is right tonight. Let's keep it up. Dave, you like that one? I can hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please. She got into the box from her first apartment, and now she has the cutest corner I've ever seen on Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Luce Michelle.
Yeah. Oh, so good to be here. And you know what, Amanda? No, don't listen to that negativity. You let your whore fucking shine this weekend. Hearing your story, oh my God, I miss being a whore. Okay, I've been married for 10 years. Like, I miss that. Those were the times of my fucking life. I just want everyone to know that Angela Cobb is the white version of me. Every time we do a show together, I feel like I'm watching.
Italian.
I'm hearing myself, like, just, yeah. Yes, Angela, yes. But so good to be here, you guys. So good to see beautiful people on a Wednesday. I honestly thought today was Tuesday, and I had that panic, like, Instagram post where I'm like, oh, shit. I said tomorrow night. It's Tuesday. But it's Wednesday. It's definitely Wednesday. I've stopped drinking Monday through Thursday, unless it's a holiday. So like today in Poland, it's Mother's Day. Right? Right? And today is also National I'm Sorry Day. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's fine. I don't consider myself to be an alcoholic, but I'm a drinker. You know, like drinkers get that, right? Like, yeah. I'm not borderline about to fuck up my whole life, but if we're out and you're like, let's do the 7 shot and get in a bar fight, like, I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, I haven't fucking felt that in a long time. Let's do it. So, like, I'm kind of there, you know? So just a little break. I started, because I'm fucking nuts. I'm training for a marathon. I'm also a full-time cannabis smoker and drinker. So, you know, we're going to see how it goes. I haven't done one in like a good 12 years, but I don't know. Nothing's working. Like Weight Watchers doesn't work. The staying committed to like a fucking schedule doesn't work. So I'm like, all right, let's do a marathon. So we'll see. I'm also married. I know. I'm sorry, but I am. And it was fucking crazy to be married or in a relationship or have a fucking roommate during this pandemic. I don't care what anybody says. That was fucking not healthy for anybody. Even if you had a pet hamster, like it was like, we need some fucking space. It was a lot. And in my house, like under one roof, there was a little bit too much passion, I guess we can call it. So a little about me. I was born in Bogota, Colombia. That's in South America. Not a lot of people know that, I've learned. So I'm half Colombian, half Native Indian, adopted by 2 Eastern European Jews. And I grew up on the Forgotten Barrel. They used to have the second biggest dump in the world that they now call Heroin Island, Staten Island, New York. That's why I sound like Angela, but I'm Hispanic. Like that's just, that's all it is. I grew up with Jews and on Staten Island too. That was a lot of therapy. I'm still in therapy, but we're taking a break. Doing it my whole life. So I feel like I'm hitting my mid 40s. Like I could take breaks now with therapy, you know, like, and that's okay. Anywho, and my husband, he's my matzo con pollo, aka my yeah, he's a Jurican. So there was a lot of passion during the pandemic living in White Chestnut, aka Westchester. We made the neighbors very nervous and they called the cops a time or two during the pandemic. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, we're the only Hispanics for fucking miles on this block. And when the cops come around anywhere here, like they make it known that they're there, and it's like, there we are, like, hey guys. That was a lot. But it's been a good 4 months and no cops have been here. So, we're doing really good. Okay. I'm going to leave you guys with this. I'm sure I'm not alone. I like to doom scroll before I go to bed. We're emotional cutters. It's what we like. But I'm still in this like deep TikTok obsession. Like, I don't know I guess because it's such instant stimulation, right? Of so many different things in your face. But the ones that piss me off are the people, the families or the couples that fucking choreograph dances.
Oh, God.
What is that? When my 6-year-old saw that, she was like, why don't we do this? What's wrong with us? Why don't we love each other like this? Why don't we family? And I was like, girl, calm the fuck down. These people are miserable. You think they're happy? That mother's been yelling at her fucking kid for like 14 hours. The father doesn't know how to edit. And the fucking son Peter. Stop it. Stop it. All right, you guys. I'm Luz Michelle. Thank you so much.
Oh, Luz, thank you.
I don't know if I went over. I timed it.
You know what? I think you were great. I had to go get more wine. So as far as I'm concerned, everything is fine. Seriously, I'm glad you're telling your daughter that those people are fucking miserable. Because here's the thing.
Miserable.
Do we, like, what? Why do we need these comparisons? Like, what the fuck? Like, when I was growing up, it was like, wow, I would just like my dad to tell me that he loves me, and now we got fucking TikTok videos. Jesus Christ. Like, why do we have to just keep adding stuff on for our inadequacy? It's humiliating. Oh God. My thing now is like, I am a little envious of like a large family, so maybe Luz, maybe the next time you go to Staten Island, you can invite me, because like, I just enjoy like that kind of like manic alcoholic energy, because like my
a lot of yelling.
Because my family doesn't have it. So like when I see these photos of people at like huge weddings, I'm like, God, I hope someone yelled at somebody about their boyfriend, and I hope someone yelled at somebody else about pregnancy. Like that, just I can hear the love in the room, Whereas like if I go home for Christmas, the house is dark by 4 p.m. and I'm watching Turner and Hooch by myself because my mom's taking a nap. Like, I would much rather be like, Amanda, what's wrong with you? How come you don't have a boyfriend? Is your pussy dry? What's going on? Like I would much prefer that.
Just bring a bottle. Just bring a goddamn bottle.
Thank you. Oh my God. I'm seriously taking you up on it. You think I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. Okay. We are going to keep the show
Good
going.
Accent. Good New York accent, by the way. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. I don't want it to be a caricature though. Like I want
Right, but I mean, it has to be there's a certain level of like colorful, and I think it has to be. I thought that was really good.
You know what? If Angela says so, I think I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I'm keeping it in my pocket, and nobody can tell me anything else. Go fuck yourself. All right, here we go. I hope everybody's having a good time. I am, because I'm on my third glass of rosé. Okay, let's keep the show going. This next guest is a fucking delight. They've guested on Emily Walsh's podcast. I follow them on Instagram. Such amazing insight about everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for James Tyson.
Oh,
hello. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I love these shows that have been born out of the pandemic, where I can't actually see or hear most of the audience because it feels like a comedy glory hole where I don't know if you're enjoying it, and I don't have to, how glory holes work. So a little bit about me. I'm gender non-binary, which is cool, I guess. We did it, Joe. It treats me fine. I went viral recently for explaining kind of what non-binary is, a dumb video, trans-related, and it's not impressive. I mention it because when you go viral for things that are trans-related, like robots and transphobes and like hordes of people from all corners of the internet arrive to the post to tell you what you have done to wrong them, which is apparently a lot. So I just like it's just a lot of comments, like people saying things, and I don't know what they want from me. Like gender used to make sense. Milk used to be healthy, right? What do you want me to do for you, right? Madonna albums used to be good, you know? Like I'm scared too, buddy. This new world, right? Things change. One guy, always so many nameless, faceless accounts, right? And one of them came to my TikTok to say, "This is what's wrong with America," which I find ironic because I'm pretty sure at this point that granting unlimited commenting power to nameless, faceless accounts on the internet is what's wrong with America, which is a very insightful observation. I just say myself. This one guy DM'd me to be like, just because you say you're something doesn't make it so. What if I said I was a toaster? And then I get pulled into an HR meeting at work and they try and hand me a glass of water. What do I say? Get that water away from me. I'm a toaster. And I don't have an argument against that one. When you're right, you're right, I guess. It's frustrating. A lot of people have opinions about the trans community, whether they know anything about it or not. And like last year, like J.K. Rowling writing a fucking 5,000 word essay about how trans women aren't real women, and I just want trans women in the bathroom with me. They're just men in dresses, and they'll get to pee all over the street. And I know that my J.K. Rowling impression is Julia Childs, by the way. I don't fucking care. I don't care.
Beautiful.
I don't care.
It's a little Monty Python-esque too. I love it. It's
spot on as far as I'm concerned.
But you know what?
Yes,
I'll work on my J.K. Rowling impression when she works on her fucking attitude. That's my logic.
There you go.
It's so frustrating because I know that trans identity is confusing. I know it. Like, I don't know what gender non-binary means half the time, and I am gender non-binary. Like, it's fine to not get something. You just not getting something isn't a excuse to be an asshole about it, right? Like,
correct.
There's so many things in this world that I don't get. Catholicism being one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is it? I don't get it, and what I do get, I don't like it. J.K. Rowling doesn't want trans women using the same bathroom as her. You think I want priests using the same bathroom as me with these boyish good looks? I don't. No. I don't want that. Okay, but you don't see me writing a 5,000 word essay arguing that Catholics aren't real Christians. Okay, and I was raised Baptist. I could write that fucking essay. They're not real Christians. Like non-binary, I don't know where I'm at on time. I'll do one more joke. Non-binary people are like, call me by they them pronouns, please. It'll make me less suicidal. And all of society is like, no, we can't do it. We could never. And I think that's annoying because we do whatever Catholics tell us to do, right? Priests, right? Talk about men in dresses, okay? We will do anything they want us to say or do. We will do it. They call us, priests have said to all of us to call them Father, right? Father. And every single one of us is like, yeah, absolutely. No follow-up questions. Please, put the cracker on my tongue, Daddy. Ugh. I can't. Done. Thank you. I'm James Tyson. Follow me on things.
Oh my God. James. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't get algebra, right? But I wasn't telling my algebra teacher to go choke on a bag of dicks in high school. I was like, I don't get it. I'm going to cry about it because I'm frustrated. Also, there should be more follow-up questions for the Catholic Church. There's so much I don't get. Just so much I don't get. Everything's fine. Okay. James, you should also know that the new show name is now Comedy Glory Hole. I just made that request. So I just want you to know that those of you that try to go back and find this on Twitch later, we are keeping it fresh, Comedy Glory Hole on the Comedy Hub. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I'm having a fucking great time. Derek, I can tell you're having a fucking blast. I got a thumbs up. I love that positive reinforcement. Are you my dad? Like, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh my God. He did tell me he was proud of me once. I should take it back. He did tell me he was proud of me one time. I was 16 years old, leaving the country. Like, I was going to live in the Dominican Republic for 2 months, and I'm standing on the porch, like about to be taken to the airport. And my dad was like, have a good time. So I took that to mean I'm proud of you. Just kidding. He actually said I'm proud of you, but I prefer to make a joke through trauma. Thanks so much. Okay, that's why we're here. Is it hot? Are you guys hot? Jesus Christ, I'm roasting.
Yes, I know.
Okay, great, good. It's not just me. Fuck. How hot is it in Arizona right now, Dave? Is it 90 yet?
Yeah, I think it's in the 90s.
Woo, baby. Okay.
96 right now.
Ooh, at least it's desert though. It's dry. You know, like,
Yeah.
Do you know how many yeast infections I battled when I first moved to New York City? I was like, the level of heat and my body adjusting to this whole environment was a real game changer. Derek really liked that joke. I could tell. Derek, I'm so glad you're here. All right, let's keep the show going. This next comedian, I met her at a show. She's based in DC because we about that worldwide shit. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Jenny Cavallero.
Thank you, Amanda. Wow, I love that DC is worldwide. Like, I did though, even though I know you're in New York and I logically know that New York is in the same time zone as DC, I had to like look at the info twice and be like, okay, is it 8 o'clock? So what I'm saying is I'm smart. I also had to move because like from my table because it started aggressively storming. So if you hear any thunder, I'm not about to be swept away. Okay. I'm Jenny. Good to be here. I live in DC. I work as a librarian during the day, which I think should make sense to everyone visually. You can just tell. Never gotten any pushback on that statement. It's a good job. I do like it. It's been interesting because I've been working throughout most of the pandemic. We've been open, which has been good and bad. You know, some of it's been stressful, but it's also been good to like be a helper, you know, during hard times, right? Like trying to be there for people in the community. But it's just really hard to be helpful all the time, right? Even though like that's kind of my job. Like this woman came in the other day and she was really nice. And she asked me where the Agatha Christie books were. And I just said, I had like had enough. I was like, you know, I could tell you. Does seem like you enjoy a good mystery though. So I think she's still looking. I learned a lot about myself the last year, I think. Mainly like all the different corners of my apartment I can cry in during the day. That's been educational. I also learned that I only like having my period when I'm at work. Like I'm 36. I'm not doing this shit for free anymore, you know? Like if I'm bleeding, I should be getting paid for it. I just don't think it's fair if I'm doing it for free. Like there's already a lot of unfair things about having your period. I just got mine today. Like it's pretty unfair that I have to be this bloated and this horny at the same time. It's not right. Like there's no use for that combination, you know? Like no one's ever been like ready to go in the bedroom and then thought, you know, if only I was full of farts, like we'd really have something here. Sadly, I am 36, which is an age. I don't know. I like being 36. I'm alive. You know, I feel like life has gotten a lot better since I was younger. I don't think people should feel bad about aging, you know? I think it's crappy. I think a lot of things have gotten better, like in society too. Like even on a small scale, like I've been driving a car for 20 years, I realize, which is just kind of just a wild thing to think about. And when I learned to drive a car in the early 2000s, like people would smash your window and commit a felony and break into your car to steal your CD collection. Like if you left anything out on the seat, like it could have been the Shrek soundtrack. They didn't care. It was like they were smashing that glass because that had street value, you know? And now, like 20 years later, I leave CDs out in my car as like a sign that my car's not nice enough to steal. Like it's a really good shortcut. I was single for all of last year too, which I agree. It was like a good time to be single, you know. I just didn't feel like safe going out and dating, you know. Not because of COVID, just because I date men. Not a safe thing to do. But I actually did start dating someone recently. I have a new boyfriend, which is exciting. The timeline of it was kind of funny. Like I got vaccinated and my 2 weeks hit, and literally the day after I went out with this guy on our first date. So that's just like being a Capricorn in action or something. I don't know. But it's good. He's a really nice guy. He's actually, he's finishing school to be a therapist, which is cool. He's like, he's a like very empathetic person. He's a good listener. He did tell me that legally I'm not allowed to call us having sex a session. But he does bill me, which is like mixed messaging, I think. But we're still working it out. Let's see, something else about me. I have arthritis. I've had it my whole life. And I'm pretty used to it now. And I feel like it's a little more normal now that I'm in my 30s. Like, but when I was younger, whenever I would tell people that I had arthritis, they like didn't really know what to say, you know, because like they just didn't associate it with like a teenager or college student or something. But I also found that like when people don't know what to say, they almost always say the same thing. So I would tell them I had arthritis and they would say, "Oh yeah, my grandma has that." Which is just a really sexy, relatable thing to say to someone, you know? But I found now, like, I don't hear that as much, but I decided to adopt that phrasing for when like my friends tell me stuff and I'm trying not to be too judgmental. So like my friend went on a first date with a guy recently and she was telling me that she was worried, like based on something he had said, that he might be a little bit racist. And I was like, oh yeah, my grandma has that. I'm going to leave you guys there. Thanks. I'm Jenny Cavallero.
Amazing, Jenny. Oh, thank you so much. I think it's great that your new boo is training to be a therapist. I think that's so great. Like,
yeah,
I would actually like to date this year. I'm saying that for like the first time in my fucking life that like I'm, thinking about it, but I'm like, but I do have 3 requirements. And I want at least 2 out of the 3. It doesn't have to be all 3. Okay. I'm, now we're dealing with abandonment issues, you know what I mean? But like, I need you to have read White Fragility or be doing some sort of like awareness around that. I need you to have seen A Promising Young Woman. And you need to go to therapy. And I kind of feel like, or have been to therapy. Therapy is kind of like the one, I'm like, if you at least do that, I can get rid of the others because like I'll be 36 next month and I go to therapy every week. And I'm like, if I meet somebody who is my age or slightly older, and you're telling me that there has not been one event in your entire fucking life that you haven't needed a professional to talk to based on the experience that you had, get the fuck out of my bed. Get out.
The more trauma, the better. Frankly.
Yeah, but also but be aware of it and be working on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's such a small thing. I mean, this is a comedy show, but like, I'm dead serious about that. You know, like, work on your shit, bro. Also, like, the requirements for men are so low. Okay, you guys have to do so little. Like, I was reading an article the other day that was like, all women want is for men to get vaccinated. Like, it's that simple. Like, don't leave the house in sweatpants, get vaccinated, and go to therapy. And you're going to be fucking like you've never fucked in your life. You guys, I said it at the beginning of the show. I'm saying it again. I'm fine. All right. This next comedian, they're a delight, talking about that worldwide shit, coming to you from California, right? Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sammy James.
Hey, everybody, I'm in Jersey.
Oh, fuck.
Fine. But hey.
Pretend it's California.
No. I have 6 minutes. Let me do my... So, it finally happened. I was finally able to get a haircut.
Woo!
Oh my God. It had been so long. I was so happy, but I was also really nervous because even before this pandemic, I haven't had a lot of good luck with haircut places, okay? Haircuts are always a nerve-wracking experience. Luckily, the girl put me right at ease by just staring at me for a while before finally saying, "Oh, basketball?" I said, "No, my name is Sammy, and I don't play basketball." So she paused, she stared at me again for a while before finally saying, "Oh, why are you tall?" Now you know I'm tall, and here's the thing, I completely understand where she's coming from, because just like my being a queer and trans person, what? 2 on the same show? Just like my being a queer and trans person, my height was a complete choice. Okay, I spent my whole childhood stretching. Oh, one day if I play my cards right, I am going to have an awkward conversation in a salon. Oh, many of them. So, speaking of haircuts, my hair got really long this past year, like a lot of ours did, and this is a serious question for anyone with long enough hair. I need to know, where do hair ties keep going? What is, do I have a cat I don't know about? Is it gnomes? Is my house haunted?
Yeah.
Black holes in the pockets? Like, what is it? And if any hair tie gnomes who happen to be watching this, like, please, let me just tell you, you just need to ask. Like, I will share. Okay, we can work this out. Okay, just reach out to me. We will figure some sort of compromise out. Haircuts. A haircut is not the only thing I have done in preparation for the world opening up again. I just did something. This is really wild. I just bought pants. just like haircuts, clothes shopping always been a weird, uncomfortable experience for me. Weird after an entire year where I didn't really wear much in the way of pants. But I was looking at my clothes options and I'm like, okay, sweatpants, pajama pants, just underwear. I need another option because apparently none of these are okay for an in-person wedding. So I've been bonding with my dog a lot the past year. It's been, listen, my options have been my dog or my 70-year-old parents I have been with for almost a year. Like, I picked the dog. I've been bonding with the dog. We've been bonding specifically because we both have IBS. For those of you who don't know, that is irritable bowel syndrome. And don't worry. I'm not going to go into any serious detail. I'm just going to tell you that I have been working my ass off to get this under control, and it still stresses the shit out of me from time to time. My dog is fine. I've also been bonding with her because we both have anxiety. And we both struggle with this. We've both been on medicine for it. We're both having a hard time. But recently, I found a solution for one of our problems. I was out at a park, and I saw someone walking a dog. And the dog was wearing a vest that said, "Please give me my space. I am a nervous animal." And I thought, oh my God, this is perfect. So I calmly approached and I said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but your dog's vest, do they make those for people?" And that's it for me.
Oh, Sammy. I feel the same way at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. There is a plant called a sensitive plant. That is not a joke. It's real. It's like a sensitive plant. And I was like, I feel so seen. Thank you. I know. It's incredible. It's incredible. I don't know, green, but obviously very sensitive. Like I said, very nice things to it. Nothing right? Like
I want one.
Yeah, I know. Nothing abrasive. Just
you're
like
doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. Exactly. Yeah. You're doing the way that you are processing sunlight to help you grow
is divine. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Nothing.
I'm impressed. A plus in my book. Do you want a glass of water? I'm gonna get going. Thanks for having me. So simple. I think you really have to go out of your way to be an asshole. But I'm glad you got your haircut, Sammy. Are you feeling better? The game changer, right? To get a haircut.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was to my shoulders, which is like, I don't know. I felt like a butch Rapunzel.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
Except like it would just be climbed by cats. I don't know.
Yeah, I can definitely say this for a fact that apartment trolls are real and they steal shit. Like for a fact, like I've lost scissors before, like, and not lost, like they were stolen. Okay. So this is why I have like packs and packs of hair ties. Okay. Everybody on Twitch counted my requirements. Write them down. And I can't be the only person that has those. There's no way. I maybe vocalize them. That's the difference. Okay. Here we go. You guys, we have one more comic for you this evening. She's a fucking delight. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Michelle Slonim.
Hey, hello. How's it going, everyone? I feel like a bunch of the comics before were name dropping that they were in their 30s or number dropping. So as someone in their no longer 30s, I just wanted to say that I too was once like you. And thank you, Liz Michelle. Manic Mystique, is your name Michelle? Because my name's Michelle. What's your actual name? She's unmuting. I see it. It's happening. It's so.
There she is.
Yeah.
Michelle Masasi.
See, but you spell it so fancy. Where are you? Is it French?
But I'm a psychic spiritual healer. And I have bipolar disorder. So that's why
I'm sorry, bipolar, crazy town. I think we're talking about me. I think we switched, Michelle. You were talking about you, and then all of a sudden you said bipolar, and I was like, oh no, this is my jam, girl. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, okay, I got it. I feel your energy. And Derek, I feel like I've seen you at a Zoom show before. Is this not your first time at the rodeo?
I've been to several of these.
You're like, you're a dime a dozen.
Derek, yeah.
All right, cool. Awesome. And Jinda Lee, I saw you eating a banana. At first I thought it was corn and I got very excited because it was yellow, but then it was a banana. Which is still a good thing to have. And you're like really luxuriating in that banana because you peeled it like a good minute and 15 seconds ago. You see, the good thing with Zoom is that we're watching you, you're watching us. It's a mutual experience. So cool. Awesome. I will tell you that my 3-year-old daughter is an adorable criminal. Where we live, there's not a lot of retail, so she thinks CVS Pharmacy is a toy store.
Yes.
Yes, but maybe she's right, because name a toy that's better than OxyContin. So we're in CVS and she grabs this purple box. Maybe she thinks it's like a Barney, the dinosaur toy. You know, it turns out that it's denture cream. There's no way that I'm buying my daughter denture cream. Like, the only reason I'd buy denture cream is to save money on the tooth fairy. It's like, oh, did your little baby tooth fall out? Squirt. Oh, it's still good. Then she sees this clear, sparkly backpack she wants. So I play reverse psychology on her. I'm like, I want it. So she'll hate it. And then she agrees and wants 2 bags. I say no. So I buy the things that I came in for. We leave. We walk a couple blocks and she reveals that she swiped a little rainbow colored mini hand sanitizer. And yeah, I'm torn because clearly she's a common thief, but she's concerned about germs and supports the LGBTQ community. But so now I understand my klepto kid. She was distracting me from her real mission. She's going to star in the next Ocean's movie, Huggies 11. So I say to her, I say, what are you doing? She goes, I want it. I said, well, I want a 5th of vodka at lunch, but I control myself. She goes, I go to her, you need to buy this. She goes, no, you need to buy this. I said, I'm going to call the police on you. She goes, I'm 3. That's just a slap on the wrist. I need to stop watching so much Law and Order. So I drag her back to CVS. I tell the cashier, she just stole this. I narked on my own toddler. But what I wanted to tell the cashier was that CVS's security was so inadequate, a 3-year-old could beat it. So anyway, I felt really bad that I yelled at her and ratted on her. So later that night, I go back to CVS to buy this stupid hand sanitizer. And when I get home, my husband sees it and he goes, no, you cannot give it to her. Because according to her 3-year-old brain, it's I steal something during the day, I kind of put it back, and the next morning it reappears like criminal layaway. I was just like, well, what if I give it to my mom and my mom gives it to her? And he's like, no, then she'll believe in magic. I was just like, well, what if I wait a week or 2? And he goes, no. Her memory's too good. You could wait until her 18th birthday. She'll connect the dots, then go rob a bank. So he hides a mini hand sanitizer, but then he stumbles upon the receipt and it's like, caught. I bought a pint of ice cream. And he sees that the mini hand sanitizer was $12.99. So he frantically starts looking for the hand sanitizer so we could get a refund. My husband had a point. $12.99 for a mini hand sanitizer is a ripoff. My daughter was right. We should have stolen it. All right, I'm Michelle Stoneham. Thanks so much.
Michelle, thank you so much. I support your daughter figuring out what she's good at an early age. Also, if she's going to steal shit, she should be stealing Sensodyne because that shit's expensive.
I used to use that for my.
I use it. And at my CVS, they have to lock it up because apparently people's rich children have nothing better to do than fuck people with sensitive teeth. It's fucking rude.
Yes.
Okay. It's super rude. You guys, that's the show. That's it. Thanks for being here. This was a fucking delight. And I feel like because Emily's not here, I should extend a really long-winded compliment to everybody watching. Do we feel okay about that? Then I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see. Whether your screen is off or on, whether you chose to have the sound muted or not. Jinda, you're the peel to my banana. Those of you that watched were the parents I never had, supporting me, showing up week after week. And I really appreciate you guys joining us and being with us. It's been really fucking fun. And I promise we'll be back and you're going to know about it. That's it. Yeah. Michelle, you first. I'm emailing you personally to be like, girl, we're back. We back. Okay. I'll let you know. I promise. You're first on my list. Derek, you're second. And then Dave, obviously, you're third. For no other reason than I just saw Derek first. So that's the reason why he's second. I'm getting lots of purple hearts and crying eyeballs from Twitch. Goodbye forever. Fuck off. You wish. You fucking wish it was forever. God. Okay. And then all we're left with is abandonment issues and Walshy regrets. Okay. You know what? Getting pretty dramatic around here for a fuck.
Oh no! You froze.
What a way to end the show.
Yeah. Go on hiatus, everybody.
Okay. Oh no, Amanda, it's back. Oh no, maybe let's give her a minute. Let's give her a minute. She might refresh and jump back in. How is everyone?
Good.
Okay, good. I don't know. What do we do?
It really goes.
Everybody for being here for the last Keeping It Fresh for the next month or so. And yeah, you guys were all amazing, by the way. Chat, give them one more big hand of a round of applause. I'm not an announcer. I'm just the nerd behind the scenes. But thank you all. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Wait, did I hear Amanda was back?
Bye.
Nope. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Across all social media platforms. All right. Hey, you get this new sound.
That's good. Now we know. I didn't know we were being recorded.
All right, then Kaplan has to leave.
Like in an hour.
All right.
Oh, and we'll do the half hour in. We'll work from your local sponsor.
You shall. And neither one of them, I made that whole document. Neither one of them is adding anything. All right, promote our merch. Here we go. Kaplan's got the t-shirt. Welcome to. Oh, wait. Welcome to Lost in America, episode 223. My name's Turner Sparks.
And I am Mikhail Kaplinski.
You can find me at turnersparks.com. Buy my album, Turner Sparks, live from the Friars Club. You can find Kaplan at Cap in America across all social media platforms. Kaplan, on the podcast today, we have returning Mr. Misha Kalin to give us the latest drama, the latest episode, the latest update in his country of Belarus. What's going on over there? He will be with us in a minute. Just for a quick teaser, the you can't even call him a president. What do you call him? The ruling
dictator, the leader,
occupying dictator,
the terrorist in charge, terrorist in chief,
the terrorist in chief.
He just likes this podcast and he wants us to have topics. He keeps giving us the gift of that. So
the terrorist in chief hijacked an airplane, and we're gonna get to that in a few minutes. But Kevin, before that. People, we have new subscribers all the time. If you want to support this show, listening to it, don't do much for us.
Not supporting it.
Yeah.
Does not do anything for us. Nothing. Nada.
So I would almost say we appreciate you listening, but I'm not sure if we do.
I don't even appreciate you at all. I mean, you should be listening. You're getting smarter. You're becoming a better blowhard. You're getting some laughs. So you should be thanking us for that, but you're not. I mean, you're not. I don't appreciate it. No.
No money comes into our pocket.
Nothing. Zero.
So if you want to really help us out, go to patreon.com/Lost in America. Throw in $5 a month for all this knowledge we're giving you. It only costs $5 a month. If you want to read a book on Belarus, first of all, you got to go to a bookstore. I don't even know if those exist.
They don't.
$20. And your other option is to go on Amazon. And now you're giving, speaking of dictators, you're giving Jeff money Bezos to, what's his name over there? Bezos.
And if you want to go to a library, I can assure you that libraries that do exist still do not even have any books on Belarus because they have very few books left. It's
Cat in the Hat.
It's kid books. Well, they don't have Cat in the Hat anymore either, but they have
got
canceled kid books and they have computer stuff. They do not have books on Belarus.
How to be a woke baby.
They have in 17 different languages. Yeah.
Patreon.com/Lost in America. $5 a month. Kaplan and I do 3 extra shows a week just for our Patreon subscribers over there. And that's a full throttle half-hour comedy podcast about our lives in New York City. I almost fought an audience member on Saturday night at the New York Comedy Club. They rushed to the stage. I grabbed the microphone, I grabbed the mic stand, and I'm going to leave it there.
Stop you right there, I'm going to say. Do not tell anymore.
The rest of that story is for Patreon subscribers only.
But it's a money-back guaranteed story. That's what we're also saying. The first month, we will get. If you don't like it, you subscribe, $5, $10, whatever you give us. If you don't like the podcast that first month, you let us know. And Turner's going to go to the post office and mail you.
I will mail you cash.
He will.
No matter what country you're in. If you're in Belarus right now, I will mail you a $5 bill.
He will hijack a plane that's going to Belarus and put $5.
You can figure out how to convert that into your money. But Kaplan, all right, now let's get to today's episode. So Misha's back. Let's say what we know, and then Misha can fill us in on what we don't know and what we got wrong. Kaplan, what do you know about this story?
Well, I know that it's all started with, like most disasters on the in the air and the skies these days. It started with Ryanair. The airline Ryanair was there was a plane. It was not going to Belarus. It was going to I'm forgetting where it was going. Greece.
It was going to Lithuania. It was going from Greece to Lithuania. By the way, that should be like that's the basics. That's the top line of any article that's written about this story right now.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's not that important. You just know it wasn't going to Minsk. It was going to a different part of Europe. 2 European Union cities were friendly countries, not countries at war with anybody. Were flying. People were flying. And they got commercial airline. That's the word. There you go. And they got a call from ground control, air control, whatever you call it. They told them there's a bomb on the plane. And in Belarus, they
Belarusian air control said, "Hey, there's a bomb on your flight, Ryan.
Well, we got to help you out." I don't know how they knew the Belarusian air control would know that you have a bomb on your plane. But they somehow knew.
When the flight did not start in your country and is not ending in your country, somehow the intelligence went to them that there was a bomb.
They were in their airspace. I guess they're saying that we have some sort of detector. We know if bombs enter our airspace. I don't even know.
Sure.
And they were so nice. They sent a military jet to escort them to land in Minsk.
Belarusian MiG fighter jet flew up next to the Ryanair airline and said, "Hey, buddy, time to land. Wheels down."
All the people, it's Ryanair, so all the people who were banging in the seats and just getting wasted like they normally do on a Ryanair flight. Just said, got a little nervous. They said.
By the way, if you're on a Ryanair flight and a MiG from Europe's last dictatorship flies up alongside you, Ryanair calls that first class. They all of a sudden charge you $100 extra per ticket because you got a benefit while you're flying.
And I guess if you start thinking there's a bomb in your flight, you're actually more likely to become a drunken hooligan mess and start banging in the seat. So
you're going down anyway.
On that plane. There's probably real anarchy on that flight. But anyway, they helped them land, and they didn't even land in the closest airport. They took them to Minsk. You think if there's a bomb, you go to the closest.
Yeah, they were almost out of Minsk. They were almost into Lithuanian air. And the fighter jet said, nope, you turn it around. We're going 4 hours the other way back to Minsk. And they landed, and then they arrested a journalist. And let's bring Misha in right there. Turns out by chance, a Belarusian journalist was on the flight. And they arrested him and his Russian girlfriend.
He wasn't wearing his seatbelt.
You know, a fantastic stand-up comedian based in Minsk, Belarus, currently in Armenia. And we'll find out why. Welcome to the show.
So, Turner paid for my flight to Armenia. So please, everybody, donate.
Yes.
To Lost in America podcast.
I need reimbursement for that flight.
Yeah, they do everything for their listener. No, your listener loves Armenia. You know it. They love Belarus. So you thought, hey, what should I do? I should combine the two.
Yeah, sweeps week.
This is the first time we've had a recurring guest go to a country of another recurring guest. Our number one guest goes to our number one market, Armenia. So this is
great. You almost wonder if at some point during this episode, if Narek Margarian is going to make.
I assume you're in his home and he's just going to appear in a bathrobe or something, like having a cocktail.
Dude, I had a kebab with him last night, so it's quite
amazing.
possible.
Look at that.
Yeah. I want you to get in his car and drive around, and we'll do comedians in cars in Armenia podcasting with us. So
sure, let's do it.
So what's going on with this flight?
All right, so you know who the guy is, right? That Roman.
Yeah, he's a Belarusian journalist who is highly critical of Lukashenko.
Not quite. He's actually not even a journalist, right?
Okay.
So essentially, our whole protest was curated, or somehow, I'm not gonna say. Basically, they had there was a Telegram channel called Nechta, but it kind of spells out like next with an A. But in Belarusian, it sounds Nechta as in like somebody. All right, it means just a random person, somebody. That's what it means, Nechta. but it kind of, some people read it as next step. So he and another dude, they're just young kids, you know, they're like 25, 26 years old. They started this channel. And yes, it was quite critical of the government, but even more so, it was used to coordinate all the protests and a whole bunch of stuff. All the new stuff was coming out there, the videos, some communication between different regions of the city. The activists in certain regions would use it to coordinate. And yeah.
So he's an important guy. In the we should also say, just to catch people up very quickly, there's been 6 months or more now of protests going on in Belarus to get the former president, election, now occupier in chief, terrorist in chief, Lukashenko, out of office. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to all the Misha Kalin episodes right now that we've done over the past 6 months. And now you're caught up. So this journalist, this guy who ran the website was big. He was a big player in the coordinating of all these protests over the last 6 months.
And he was in Belarus then? During that?
No, they were in Poland.
They were in Poland. Okay.
They ran it from out of Poland for obvious reasons, because they would have gotten shut down immediately. And the channel had, at some point, over 2 million subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is quite powerful, and it was basically the voice of the protest for a while. And now, actually, the update on the protest is that it's essentially dead, and people are being put to jail, arrested, given criminal terms. The fines have doubled and tripled. So it's
he's finally shut it down, basically.
Yeah, he shut it down. Things are not good. That's why I'm thinking about staying in Armenia because I'm afraid to fly back. Even I don't even know what's gonna. Like honestly, if I was flying, I was just flying on the 23rd. So if I was flying a day later or 2 days later, I don't even know if it's possible now. I don't know what the situation is. So I'm supposed to go back at the end of the week, but I think I'm going to change my flight and stay here because I came here for work anyway. But I also got to meet Narek, and we talked about doing stand-up here in English. And he said, basically, that's what I did in Lviv, Ukraine. You know, I just started going to venues and I said, I like this venue. I'm going to do stand-up here. And people usually say, yeah, okay. So I'm going to do it here. And Narek said, yeah, I'll support you. Let's do it. So I'm just going to do it.
Wait, so you might be, you and Narek might be rejuvenating, not creating, but rejuvenating the stand-up comedy scene in Armenia, or at least starting something new to be part of it.
Well, exactly, because their sort of their model is way different from what you and I did and what we are used to, right? We want as much stage time as possible, right? So you work on your material at open mics, and then you have paid gigs. They have sort of a different thing. They have more of a comedic show, and they're kind of run. They write material in like small groups, and then they have huge gigs, and
almost like a theater, like a play would do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
like a run. They have a run of that show for 6 weeks or whatever, 6 months.
But Sergey, the other guy from Arm Comedy, right? He was there, and he said there is actually a bunch of other people who do it way more often, and they kind of want to do it on the regular basis. And some of the people, he said a lot of them do it in Russian, like 50% of them do it in Russian. Some of them are actually from Moscow and everything. So I want to get connected to those guys.
Wait,
and actually...
you were going on the 23rd of May. And sorry, when did this hijacking, let's call it, when did this happen? Was that also on the 23rd of May or 24th?
I think 24th or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you went up with the... Yeah, so you went to Armenia just for work, for not comedy related work, just your day job work, and now you're thinking of just staying?
Yeah, I mean, I work for a really cool startup, and we deal with AI. And actually, Narek is interested in AI. He's coming to the office tomorrow to talk to our...
Wow, look at this! We get 10% of any deal you guys make, by the way.
Well, that's what I make. So,
so, and what's because I just think I understand that this could be part of, from an American perspective, going to a country on vacation or for work and then just deciding I'm staying sounds kind of crazy. But also we've done these almost a year of podcasts with you now. And I remember from the very beginning, the first one we did with you almost a year ago, we were joking about Lukashenko being this crazy guy who didn't know how to respond to coronavirus. He was almost like a not harmless, but not super dangerous kind of buffoon, idiot. And then it became, oh, wait, now he lost this election, but he's pretending like he won and he's not leaving office. It got serious and people started protesting in the streets. And then I remember even speaking to you and there was a lot of hope that, well, these protests are so big, they're going to take him down. And now...
Yeah, there's no more hope. So
the hope's gone.
Hope's gone.
And then this is what happens. I mean, your personal story is a microcosm for what happens, which is that the educated people, the people who can afford to leave, oftentimes leave in these situations. And the people who can't, unfortunately, have to stay. And then it hurts the country even further. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people have already left. And and we had still a thriving IT sector. Lots of companies still in Belarus. And it was pretty much like one of in Eastern Europe, it was the biggest hub for outsourcing companies, startups, and some other innovative companies. But now everybody's leaving because, I mean, the situation is this: you're sitting at home and you're waiting to get arrested.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's everybody. Didn't you tell us last time your aunt got arrested on their way to the laundromat or something, just walking down the street?
No, to get chemotherapy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was, one of our comedians who does stand-up in English, he's serving his 30-day jail term. I think it's about to end pretty soon. So that's another one.
For what? What did he get arrested for?
He basically they had a pro-government rally, and he started talking to these people and just kind of making fun of them.
Yeah.
I mean...
No. I mean, obviously, none of these arrests are legitimate. We're not trying to legitimize.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, what did they accuse him? What did they come up with to take him to jail? That's ridiculous.
Basically, it's all they just manufacture cases. People get criminal terms. That's another thing. I was flying out the same day. I'm not even gonna say who, just because they're really, really secretive. I'm not even gonna. Just a person that's really, really close to me was leaving to an undisclosed location on the same day because he's afraid of persecution.
To go to another country, leaving the country.
Yeah. So, and essentially, most of the people that I know are leaving. Nothing is holding me. This is all I can say. Like, the reason it's easy for me to just stay here is just because most people have either already left or will leave by the end of this year that are like close to me and that I care about.
Got it.
So essentially, that's the situation. I guess it's not like I'm optimistic. And when I say the hope is dead, it's not like it's dead, but this try has failed. Now we're kind of waiting for, or not waiting and just hoping for another trigger. This could be one, this whole, terrorist.
Could anybody have imagined this? Did you ever think like something like this was like?
That's actually that was honestly, in retrospect, we should have seen something like that coming. You can't have 20 years of stagnation. What's the other alternative? Just turn it into North Korea? I mean, now it's kind of turned into North Korea too. I guess what I'm saying is, you either reach that point, just kind of like that frog in a gradually in water that just gets hot gradually, right? And it gets boiled to death. And I guess now it's just not gradual anymore,
Yeah.
Because the economy would have shut down eventually, and people's lives would have been shit anyway, right? And that would have caused some kind of unrest, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just impossible for it to just constantly decline or just be stagnant forever into infinity. At some point, something has to happen. But the another thing that I'm watching all the time is Russia, because Russia is seemingly following Belarusian scenario. And once Russia changes or moves on to a different phase. I don't even know how to say it. It could be like a power transfer or another revolution there. Then it will affect us for sure. Also,
no, let's get into that because it seems like
Russia's fingerprints have got to be involved in this.
Well,
big
part of course. We kind of deviated from the whole story, but quickly going back to that story. So the guy was flying there with his girlfriend, right? So they made the plane land in Minsk, even though he was saying, hey, we can't land here because I'm gonna be arrested. And
so he knew, he was aware, obviously.
Yeah, he was highly suspicious of this situation because he actually, right before the flight, he was texting to someone that somebody was following him, trying to take a picture of his passport, and then all of a sudden he just turned around and left. Also he was flying there with his girlfriend, and she got taken in. He made a video recently that you could tell that he was beaten and everything. He was probably tortured, and he was saying just in common sort of collected. It's almost morbid. Did you see that video?
He released like a hostage video, basically.
Yeah, like a hostage video.
He almost like apologized for his role, and right
basically said that he's being treated with the accordance of the law. That's what they do, and it's it's kind of chilling, honestly. They do these cynical things. But where did Lukashenko get this idea? He did the same thing. Ukrainian special forces fucked up a special operation by overtaking this private fighting sort of group, the Wagner. I don't know, Wagner. They basically militants, or what do you call them? Private sort of
military
mercenaries or something like that. Yeah, that they sent to Syria and elsewhere, and they were involved in Ukraine, in the Donbass. So they were trying to lure them into Kiev. But then that whole situation, somebody in the Ukrainian office, there was a snitch in the Ukraine office, and so they let the Russian authorities know. So they landed that plane in Minsk, and so basically they took over the 30 the mercenaries, right? So that was the first sort of.
So this has happened before, or a version of this has happened before.
Yeah, just recently. Yeah, so that gave Lukashenko the idea. Oh, you can actually do that. So he and he's a very spiteful. He's a dumb, spiteful, collective farmer. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of his nature. And
it seems like Kaplan and I were talking before we went on the air, and it seems like the risk. So what he wanted to do, spiteful is the perfect word, because this guy's been running a website that's been very critical of him. And as you said, what I read was 20% of the estimate's 20% of Belarusians are subscribers to this website. 20%
to a Telegram channel, you mean?
Yeah. So that's he has a pretty big influence. But also Lukashenko's already sanctioned by the EU, sanctioned by the US. This seems like an unnecessary move for him when he knows he's going to get one guy that he doesn't like, and he's going to be able to torture that guy. So that's great for Lukashenko. He can feel good about himself because he's torturing one enemy. But at the same time, there's going to be bigger and bigger sanctions by the EU, by the US against him, which I'm sure he doesn't care about. He doesn't necessarily need to leave. All he wants to do is be in Belarus or Russia, but also against his country, which he definitely seems to not care about.
He doesn't care about that, and he's never been to Europe. I don't think he's ever traveled.
He doesn't need to go on vacation in the south of France.
Exactly, and he doesn't really care. That just shows you that's the level of cynicism, right? And honestly, that pilot, the Ryanair pilot, what if he got that warning and he was trying to leave Belarusian airspace, and that's why they raised that MiG to kind of force him to land. But what if he didn't land? Would he have
bombed it? Like,
would they have shot it out of the air?
I don't know. You tell me, I
mean, what if he would have landed, something would have gone wrong and all these civilians were killed? I mean, it would have been an international, crazy, really unprecedented international incident. There's lots of...
But then again, Let's say that happened. What would Europe do? Again, wag their...
Yeah, they're not very tough, Europe. Yeah.
Well, so that gets to my next question, because just reading some of these quotes from what the foreign countries have done, I mean, the United States strongly condemns, in quotes, that's happening, but we condemn all the time. We don't do anything about it, right? Poland's actually a little stronger. They called it state terrorism.
Well, they were actually, it was leaving from their country too. So
no, it was leaving from Greece.
Oh wait, sorry, I'm getting confused. I keep getting confused. Yeah,
and it was going to Lithuania. Yeah. European Commission said this will have consequences, but none of these sanctions work. Misha, can you think, as a Belarusian, is there anything that these foreign countries could do that would work?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, assassinate him. I'm not.
I mean,
I guess I'm just hopeful, but I don't know.
Well, we read that they had sanctions from going back from last year that they were still debating the EU. They hadn't even finalized them. They're like, well, maybe this will speed that up from going back.
Sanctions won't work.
Yeah.
I don't know what would work.
Outside of just attacking, like military attack, right? Or some kind of CIA type operation to go in and just take him out, something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe,
What about
something like that? I can't think.
But as long as he's got Putin, no one is going to try to do that. That's the thing.
Well, because then you're going to war with Russia as well.
Then you're going to war with Russia.
Really. No. If he was out of the picture, I think Putin would have a blast. He would, he would think it's hilarious.
But wouldn't he have to act though? Because I feel like it would be like an insult to Putin.
Maybe not.
No. He'd be like, "Thank God he is gone, guys." It was.
I'm thinking even in mob terms here. Even if you don't like the guy, you're like, well, that was protecting him.
Well, Misha, is there any parallel? Because you and I both lived in China for a long time. We understand the relationship between China and North Korea, where it's like a relative, it's like a drunk uncle that you put up with, but you can make fun of him, but if anyone else does, they're a problem, right?
Exactly,
and so China always supports North Korea in that way. Internationally, they say they support North Korea, but truthfully, they can't stand the Kim Jong-il family, the Uns. They think they're annoying to have to deal with and cover up for all the time. And so I could see the same. If somebody took out them, China on one hand would have they would have to pretend like they really cared about it. But as long as no one came into Chinese territory, I don't think they would do much about it. But I mean,
that's a really good comparison. I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I think secretly Putin wants Lukashenko gone because he would rather put somebody else in his place. That Babarika guy who's in prison now, one of the presidential candidates.
Yeah.
He's from Gazprom, one of the biggest oil and gas companies. What do you mean? It's the biggest oil and gas companies, state-owned gas companies in Russia. And he's in prison now. I'm pretty sure Putin would rather see him in power instead of Lukashenko, because Lukashenko has screwed him over. He's been screwing him over. He makes promises, never delivers. He always stabs you, and he's slippery. He's learned. He's the true political animal. He knows how to just navigate through the political bullshit. He's very much like Trump in that sense.
But he's in charge. I mean, because I read this quote from one of the EU people saying, well, we need to first see if we can prove that Lukashenko was involved in this before we decide on the sanctions.
Really? Who said that?
I was like, what are we talking about? I saw that one of the EU quotes from one of the people. And I was like, I don't even understand. Of course he's involved. Otherwise, you have real problems if they're just like random government people military just hijacking planes for shits and giggles.
But Lukashenko, I mean, Misha, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Lukashenko is admitting he's involved, but he says...
Yeah,
there was just a bomb. He thought there was a bomb on the plane, and it turned out there wasn't. That's his story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think they meant like, did he plan it, or was he like aware of it late in the game and just said, "Oh, okay," that kind of thing. Like, which, I mean, it's really brazen. Like, there haven't been a lot of there's no other examples. And there's a lot of thug dictators in the world who have gotten out and just hijacked a commercial plane to get a dissident. So that. The world, I'd be shocked if the world doesn't do something. But you're right. I'm holding my breath.
If they close the borders, that's actually screwing people like me.
Yes, right.
And that's what Lukashenko wants anyway. He doesn't want people.
Right. Different airlines are announcing they're not going to let you use your airspace and stuff like that. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Who does that hurt? Definitely not Lukashenko, right?
Yeah.
So
what, Misha? How getting into the flight thing, as Kaplan just kind of pointed out? one of the major, this hasn't been a state-sponsored sanction. It isn't from the EU. Oh, it might be from the EU. I guess, yeah, the EU did say that they're no longer allowing Belarusian airlines companies to fly over EU land. And then they're also not letting EU based airlines, to fly over Belarusian land. So I guess if you're currently in Armenia, you can still get back. You can go back and forth because you're not crossing any EU territory. Right. But
you could also take a flight to Lithuania and maybe it'll get hijacked and you'll end up in Belarus. So you can.
Anything can happen. Yeah. So does this, if you're just if you're a Belarusian citizen, I would imagine a lot of people right now are thinking this is the time to get out. Does it look like Lukashenko might be shutting down borders at some point, or who knows?
Yeah, I mean, now he's capable of anything. And I mean, honestly, like, now that we're talking about it, I feel like I'm getting more and more depressed. Like I have way less energy than in the beginning of this podcast because it's kind of like the realization of it. I don't know why. I'm kind of optimistic just because under this pressure, I feel like I'm thriving. Like it's sorted out my life. You know, I'm feeling better than ever in terms of before I had like issues in my life, and then I just focused. Oh, okay, listen, this is just everything that I was dealing with was nothing. You know, this is a real threat, so I have to put sort all my things out, and like really work hard and to be that person that people can rely on if shit hits the fan, right? And so I guess that gives me some kind of optimism and hope. But in looking at the situation, I'm trying to find positives, but there aren't any. Well, I guess my only hope is for for the global situation to change. Like I'm still waiting for Putin to, kick the bucket. And like what I was telling you, that a political analyst, Valery Solovey, he keeps talking about it, that he's, taking a bunch of medicine and he's planning the transfer of power this year. And once that happens, I think, basically Lukashenko thinks he has everything under control. But all it takes is just one mistake, one miscalculation, and boom, it all falls apart. Because he's really, he's trying to solder a boiling kettle shut. You know what I mean? And once that blows up, there's just, the effect is going to be huge. And we failed at the first attempt, but I feel like that was. Listen, we've been dormant. The country was asleep for 20 years, So when you just wake up, you don't really know what to do. And you're hopeful. You feel like this is the right way. Nobody knows what to do, Nobody teaches you this stuff.
Was he the only leader since the Soviet Union? Since you were independent? He was, right?
Yeah. Yes, since 1994. And Misha, I want to say this. This in no way has this whole Belarusian thing, the revolution, attempted revolution, this has not been a failure. Because not only Kaplan and I, but the international media at large is now talking about Belarus all the time. It's in our news. It's in our headlines often. Yeah. That's why we keep doing these episodes and for 20 years, it wasn't. You could have asked anyone a year and a half ago, where is Belarus? I think you even have a joke about it. No one knows, right? Now everyone knows. So
yeah, I have an hour of jokes about it. Yeah.
So in that sense alone, I know that awareness can be a bullshit term, like, oh, we need to raise awareness, but genuinely Belarus needed to raise awareness, and that's been done. So now it's going to be easier to.
Now I have to throw away a whole hour of material.
Yeah, this is not. You're not helping. Now he's more depressed. Just throw away an hour of jokes.
This is like when a fat comedian gets skinny and they have no act.
Yeah. No, go back to being fat.
Listen, you're totally right, and also the society has changed. People are not going to be the same anymore, and a lot of people have woken up. And let's say this guy who's in jail now, his whole family, even if they were on the border or something, right? They weren't sure which side of the fence they're on. Now they know. And there were some people who are taken in, and put to jail that voted for Lukashenko, but nobody really believes them. They go like, "Oh, I voted for Lukashenko. Why are you taking me?" And they're like, "Yeah, shut up." Right. So there's these repressions are so rampant that it's really changing the society. I don't think it's gonna. And I hope the elites are finally kind of his surrounding is realizing it. And I mean, I don't know. At some point, how can you live with yourself? I'm hoping, like, if you're the police chief or one of the military guys, at some point you just can't. Some of them, like I believe there's some suicide cases. 60 of them have been their ranks have been taken over, so they've been like dishonorably discharged or whatever, right? So this type of thing is demoralizing, and soon the budget is running dry. That loan that they got from Russia is running out. They're not going to get another one. They're just going to get, existing debt restructured or something like that. So it's running dry, and once they can't pay, the riot police to, go around and hunt civilians, maybe they'll kind of open their eyes too. I know that feeling, because I remember when, I was religious for a while, and then it just hit me. I was like, oh, wow, people don't get raised from the dead, and then boom, you're not religious anymore. Maybe it's not a good.
I see what you're saying. It's coming out of a way of thinking that's like shattered, and it takes a minute to kind of flip.
Well, I feel like they think of him as this deity,
Doesn't he call himself Father? And right?
Yeah, exactly. And you have this complete faith in him, and then you realize, oh, it's just some guy, and he's doing crazy shit.
All he cares
Why
about.
Why am I protecting him? Yeah, he doesn't. Guy. Yeah, he's a crazy guy. It's almost seriously, Stockholm syndrome. So once you kind of realize that, how can you go and live in?
Because the military has an awakening almost, or the police,
guys,
I guess.
We got more to get to, but we do have to take a break. Before we take the break, Kaplan, we are part of the world's smartest podcast network.
Yes, we are.
Deemed by people. I think there was a global podcast organization that deemed us the world's smartest.
Well, every podcast network, if people don't know this, you have to submit it to an IQ test, special podcast IQ test, and you average it out.
Yeah.
And despite my low marks, the rest of you guys are so damn smart that we ended up number one.
Number one, we carried it.
Yeah,
so we're the world's smartest podcast network. Check out our two other shows on the network. We have Dr. Andrea Jones-Roy, host of her former show is Ask a Political Scientist, but subscribe to that because she will be out with a new show soon on the same feed. It should be on the same feed. If it's not, she's really not doesn't understand what she's doing.
She's not a smart podcast network.
No, we might get our name taken away if she changes feeds for that. But she is a professional political scientist / stand-up comedian / circus performer. And
a lot of slashes.
Lot of slashes. Also, check out the Political Orphanage with he's not a doctor, but he does have elbow pads on his jacket.
I mean, he's just as much of a doctor as Bill Cosby, so
that's true. Andrew Heaton, and his guest next week will be Dr. Bill Cosby, I believe, from prison.
Yes, way to tease.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
They'll be discussing Jell-O. No.
So the Political Orphanage, Ask a Political Scientist. We are Lost America Podcast, World's Smartest Podcast Network, and now a word from your local sponsor. All right, we're back. Misha, one more thing I wanted to tell you. This idea, if this is news, if you are moving to or staying in Armenia where you are now, and I've told you this off the air, a lot of our guests, more than any other guests we ever had, we have audience members who write in and ask about you and have been wanting to make sure you're safe throughout the past year. So they will be very happy to hear that you are now out. I think I've not lived through this as you have, but just reading it through history, there seems to always be a time when people decide you want to save your you want to do everything you can for your country, do everything for your homeland, and then at some point you're like, well, I have to take care of myself, take care of my family, right?
Yeah, it's like on the airplanes, you put the little mask on yourself first, and then on your kid. There's a lot of sort of sense in that. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I can do at this point, right? I don't know how to use a gun. I don't have a gun. There's nothing you can do. There's armed riot police in front of you. They have this ammunition. They have these fences and everything. And what am I supposed to do? What can I do? Like I'm on stage. I'm trying to persuade people. I'm trying to be open and try to, I don't know, like I feel like jokes have power. You know, you at least kind of tell people, you give them catharsis. Like that's why I feel like stand-up has been thriving under this under these conditions, right? People still come because you have these veiled jabs. You know, every single thing that you say.
And it releases tension, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so you do that, and then it kind of makes people think, right? If people are in doubt, or they, and listen, I've been walking around saying that if you also have to. Ever since I started going to AA, you know, I started really believing in just the power of faith. You know, like faith is a verb, you know. And so you should just stop thinking and start doing. Like that's why, like I feel like all these things that are happening. It's almost like it's meant to be like that. Why am I in Armenia? Why are you and I talking right now? That's kind of crazy that we just started doing this, you know, a few months ago, and now I'm in Armenia. You know, and now I'm talking to Narek. Narek is coming to my office, you know, to talk about AI. I'm working with AI, and we actually do like really cool stuff for private security, you know. And I feel like, listen, I'm really passionate about this. We're trying to build a unicorn, and you know, I'm using my skills, my stand-up skills, and developing global partnerships. And you know, the solutions that we make, they actually like do really cool stuff. We save lives. You know, we make the world a safer place. And again, this technology can be used, you know, for evil. And at some point, if it takes that turn, at least I want to be in the middle of it, and I can do something about it, or I'll at least be the first person to know, right? So I want to be the person that people can rely on, and not just some drunk asshole spewing obscenities on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that it's really turned my world around, and you know, that's kind of the positive side of that. But I do think, you know, I'm also hopeful because you know, the fall of the Soviet Union, that was the first sort of phase. We're entering democracy, and some countries like Czech Republic, Poland, the Baltic states, they've succeeded. You know, the first try was enough. Well, perhaps it wasn't enough for us. You know, maybe we'll do it. You know, I'm hopeful that we just need a little bit more. And even if you look at that, you know, we call it repressions, right? People compare this guy to Stalin. But in the end of the day, I mean, look at it. The scale of violence is way less in the 21st century, right? Even if like 10 people die, that's a huge, it resonates, it has a huge impact, right? And during Stalin, you know, it was countless people still have not been found. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. So at least that's something, you know, I'm hoping that this century's revolutions won't be as bloody, at least, you know.
And why do you think that is because of technology, internet, because everyone has cameras on their phones, or what do you think keeps it a little more in check?
I mean, overall, I think we just have better lives than ever before. I mean, that's just...
People have gone soft. They don't have the. I mean, these dictators don't have it in them like Stalin to purge enough people at a time.
Well, previously, 100,000 people could get wiped off the planet, and there wouldn't be one video about it.
It wouldn't even be an article in the New York Times. They wouldn't even notice. They would.
Unless there was some embedded journalist who was there when it happened, and New York Times journalist. Otherwise, the news won't even make it over there. You know.
Yeah. So I guess TikTok saved the world.
TikTok. Look at that. What about, so speaking of Lukashenko, so 91, is that when the USSR fell, or when I guess Belarus left the USSR? But it would be 91.
Lukashenko voted against it, right? He was like the one guy I read that he was in parliament and he voted to stay. So he was.
Oh, really?
Excellent.
Yeah, I read that when I was reading. Yeah, he's like the only member of the Belarusian parliament who voted to stay. I mean, obviously he was overruled.
I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
Exactly.
Yeah. Listen, and when he became the president, we had the red, white flag, and then he changed it 2 years later. So for 2 years, the flag of the revolution was our flag. right? So yeah, he definitely loves the USSR because that was his golden years. Like he was the chairman of the local collective farm. Those were his best years, and he feels like the whole country can be ruled like a giant collective farm, and that kind of his aesthetic comes from those days. He wasn't like educated in like an Ivy League school or anything. He doesn't have. All he does is just.
He's not a critical thinker. You're saying.
Yeah, but he instinctively he is really good. I'm not saying he's an amazing politician. He's been able to, Putin is supposedly tough, but he's the one who's been screwing Putin over for 20 some years, and he can't do anything about it. It's almost like, he acts like he is angry, but as you said, the comparison with North Korea, like I can make fun of him and I can talk shit, but nobody else can. So
yeah. So
and he's been getting free oil forever, So and getting subsidies and all that jazz. So to some extent, that's pretty decent political game.
It is, yeah. I mean, he learned how to survive, basically, right? But in '94, he won. He legitimately, we think probably legitimately won the election, right?
Right, because I mean, at that point, people didn't really know, and he kind of sounded like a decent alternative.
Yeah,
I mean, I was a kid then, but it's I guess he was a fresh face. It's kind of like Putin, for once you didn't have to choose between like an 80-year-old KGB guy or an 80-year-old Politburo guy, right? So those fresh faces kind of made an impact.
And then he stayed, from what I read, he stayed relatively popular in Belarus because he never made a clean break from Russia. So he was, as you were saying, getting funding from Russia all the time and also trade partner with Russia and everything. So the economy kind of stayed all right. This is what I've read. You can tell me if it's wrong. The economy kind of stayed all right through the 90s and the 2000s, while other countries who had broken off 100% from Russia, a lot of those were failing economies because they were kind of having growing pains of becoming democracies and all that stuff.
No, we had a huge crises up until like mid 90s. We had crises. The whole country was out of like milk or out of eggs, but then like
eat cereal. No
milk.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it was tough for a while, but then Russia was on the rise from the beginning because of oil prices. It was doing for a decade. It was doing quite well economically up until probably 2010 or so, and then it started to decline. And sort of by association, Belarus was kind of doing well too.
Yeah. So was there ever, because it seemed like in 2020, his big issue was the election last year, pretty clear he lost, even though he claimed he won by 80%.
Was that the first one he clearly lost? Or
that's my question.
Yeah. Did he probably rigged as well, or we don't know?
That's a great question because I guess it's kind of like the Russian scenario, right? It was always rigged, but they would do it in a mild form, right? So it wasn't outrageous. This time it was just so blatant that you couldn't argue about it. Before, they could just put in, just kind of falsify a little bit. So, but I think overall, people did vote predominantly for Lukashenko in the last few elections.
Well, and you had told us that if I remember correctly, this was the first one you'd voted in. A lot of people just didn't vote, right, in the past? Because it kind of seemed pointless.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in 2010, we had that was the last time we had riots and everything. And in 2011, we had a terrorist act in the Minsk subway. And so they caught two guys and they immediately executed them. But everybody pretty much knows that was a government, of course. Yeah. And lots of people died, but right after, I mean, a lot of things are pointing.
What kind of terrorist attack? You mean like they blew up something or?
A bomb. Yeah, a bomb. And like a lot of people died. And but right after this bombing, Lukashenko and his son, who was like 6 at that time, he went down there that day. Like, how did he know that it wasn't going to happen again? There's like that.
Oh, he went down there to be like, we're Belarus. We can get through. Almost like George Bush after 9/11. I can hear you. The whole world can.
He grabbed an old Belarusian man with a megaphone.
Yeah,
exactly.
I see what you're saying.
So he used it
and
as a political stunt, is what you're saying. He used
and the trial was really quick. They executed them, and still their parents and they still go out and they say that it was a completely fake trial and everything, and so they just took 2 scapegoats, pinned that terrible crime on them, and executed them. So that was in 2011, but that kind of instilled fear, or I don't know. I think their whole thing was to unite the nation over that whole thing. But I think it mostly just like instilled fear. And throughout the 90s, he would get rid of his political opponents. That's what Putin did that too. Like all of his political opponents, 2 of them died in helicopter crashes. One of them, his wife, supposedly, he was like a general who fought in Chechnya. His wife supposedly shot him, which just implausible, then of course the poisonings, the most recent one.
And Lukashenko was doing this even earlier than Putin, really, because he had power even longer.
Yeah. So
he taught him a few tricks.
Yep, dude, they're twin brothers in terms of methodology.
I mean, do you think Putin's jealous that he's like, I never hijacked a plane? I didn't pull that one off.
Well, now he can.
But he did though. But he did.
Right. But not a commercial, like a little.
Yeah, so he copies. Lukashenko copied the same.
Right, he just did a little more.
Yeah, with his own pizzazz.
A little more
That's
balls.
what he does. Yeah,
I mean, Putin's gonna now. He can though. Putin next time.
Now anyone can. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Joe Biden's gonna say we're very upset with you, and then everyone moves on with their life. I mean, if there's no consequences, planes can just start getting hijacked by MiG fighter jets all over the place. You could be flying over Thailand and they could throw a MiG up there and take you down.
I mean, I looked it up in August after the stolen election. The EU said that there's going to be repercussions. A lot of people are going to be held responsible for this. We can't let it stand, and nothing's happened since then. So they're just going to wave their finger, and what are they? What really
about
do?
Misha? What about the journalist? It seems like he's going to go to death row. I mean, not the journalist. Sorry, the guy. The guy who runs the website.
The guy was kidnapped.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, he could, because he's considered I'm not sure what the exact
a terrorist. I think.
I mean, because they're saying because he was helping organize violence. Basically, that's the charge because of the channel,
right?
Or meetup spots. Yeah.
But the legal definition is a little bit more vague than just straight up a terrorist.
Okay.
So, but he could be looking at, or it could be just, listen, honestly, if you get 18 years in prison or even 7 years in Belarusian prison, I don't know what's worse. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So I'm just hoping this whole regime falls apart way before. So everyone who gets those terms can get out sooner. So
let's end on something happier here. What's the future? I mean, Armenia.
Hey, we're all gonna die. Come on.
Let's talk about. We can get you a job selling. We can send you 1,000 #1 in Armenia T-shirts and to take to the streets.
Well, actually, Narek was saying, "Where's his hoodie?" All right, so he.
Oh yeah, we do. We need his mail. I'll contact him. We do need to send him a hoodie. That's true.
But when you guys do a show together, you're gonna get Lost in America fans.
Well,
we need to have a booth.
Send him two. Send him 2 hoodies.
We'll send 2. We will send 2. I'm writing that down right now.
But we are in Armenia, and it's super hot here. So get us some T-shirts along with it. So
what about you? Drink coffee over there? You need a mug? What else do you need?
What model iPhones do you have?
Tote bag.
Phone covers. People, you can get all this stuff on our website.
Sure.
So what's? I mean, this is exciting though. If the 2 of you guys are working together, and 3, I guess, with the 2 armed comedy guys and you.
Well,
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Not yet.
I know, but it would be very cool. What are you
talking about it?
I mean, would it be? Are there comedians roughly? Do you know? Did you get a sense of how many comedians are currently there and how many would be interested in doing a weekly show and stand up and all that stuff?
I mean, the idea that I got that they're there. I don't know how many, but hey,
they just need Misha to start the show.
Honestly, I just listen. I can. This is my only condition. I'll stay in Yerevan only if I can do stand up. So that's why I'm just gonna go to bars and be like, hey, can I just do stand up here?
I mean, now you know.
If I'm the only one, if I'm the only one, that's awesome because more stage time for me.
Well, we'll be there soon. We've already made. I think Belarus currently might be out of the question for us. We said we would come to Belarus.
I wanted to go see my family roots, but it's not.
We'll
really
meet you in Armenia.
We will definitely be taking off a plane, and I would, as the plane descended, I have such respect for this guy who can know like you're coming down and like they're going to arrest you probably, because I'd be pissing myself. I couldn't deal with it. So yeah, we're not going anywhere near that airspace right now.
Yeah, and it was crazy that the pilot just took off. He could have said, "Hey, listen, what happened here? Why'd you take one of the people off my flight? I'm not gonna leave until."
Right. The people just went back to their normal route. I read like 6 people went off the flight because 4 of them weren't arrested. They were the agents that were tracking them, I guess.
What if you're like, oh, actually, I live here. Oh, this is my stop.
I was going to connect. You know what?
Do you think on Ryanair, when he was going down, he was like, hey, can I get a barf bag? I'm about to throw up. And they're like, yes, that'll be $5. We can sell you a bag to puke into.
Yeah, I mean, I think they basically kicked him out. He was saying, listen, I'm going to, get arrested and I can get executed. And they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
They just thought, it's their typical, I guess.
Ryanair,
following protocol.
Yeah,
Ryanair, they follow protocol. They don't protect freedom fighters and that. There should be an airline that advertises, we protect dissidents.
Well, they're worried about
down.
They're worried about their on-time arrival statistics.
It screws up their stats. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Like, we already get shit on all the time. But
hey, I'm never flying Ryanair. That's
no matter what.
No matter what.
I mean, I used to be scared of catching STDs in that flight. Now, yeah, everything. I'm out.
I mean, I used to think United was bad because of those the service from those long haul flight ladies, but this is over the line, turning you into a terrorist government.
When we start our old school like Mad Money airline that we've talked about, where people could smoke on a plane and the flight attendants were old school outfits and everything, we're gonna also be dissident friendly. We're not allowing any of these shenanigans. Our guys are gonna be packing heat. They're just gonna take you down if you try anything.
Dude, that should be a slogan. Dissident Gulag Airlines.
Gulag Airlines. There's our idea. That's our second. That's a sister charter company. Madman Airlines, Gulag Airlines.
Gulag Airlines. That's it, everybody. Misha, thank you so much. We will see you in Armenia. And everybody, Misha did a full episode with us a couple months ago that we did only on Patreon. So check that out over there. Kaplan, what should we do?
And we don't have to give you any food in that airline because we're preparing you for life in the gulag. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to get lost.
Get lost. All right. Thanks so much, Misha.
I got to bounce.
That was awesome.
Enjoy Armenia.
That was a great one. I hope.